Welcome all to another episode of the Final Gravity podcast about craft beer, life, friends, and existing on planet Earth. I am one of your hosts, Cousin T.
I am the Viking Peaches, here as always.
CJ Mueller right here, ready to go head-to-head with my friend.
And our special guest today,
I'm Marty V.
Marty's here from Sacred Waters.
Welcome in.
Thanks.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Welcome
I'm
to
not
the shit
welcome
show.
to any shit, dude.
I don't blame you.
Welcome to the shit show.
That's the only courtesy you get from me is those 3 seconds right off the
I'm
bat.
still drinking to that, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, and then this one guy. Yeah.
on today's episode, we
This fucker.
are going to challenge these two fools with a blind taste testing of not only some of their own beers, but also some other sneaky things that me and Josh worked on to slide in to see if you guys are really as proficient as you talk about.
We're going to be sorely disappointed.
We talk a lot of shit. I don't think this is going to go well for either one of us.
Well, the fun part for me is I know exactly which beers you will be tasting, but I have no idea what order you're going to be tasting them in.
Also,
So,
I mean,
in
I don't
my
even have
own
an
head,
order
I'm going to
set
try
up.
to
So
guess
we
which
just
beer
trying to
you're
guess,
actually
like,
tasting.
which beer is which?
Well, we're gonna do a little tasting. We're maybe gonna analyze the beers a little bit, and then if you think you have a guess, you should throw it out there. Here's what we know, right? And confirm me if I'm wrong. We know that all these beers are in the IPA category
That is
or close to.
Yep.
We know that there is at least one beer from each of our breweries in this lineup.
Correct.
And that's about all we know.
There are each,
Yep.
yes. So as far as you guys know, yes, there are beers from each of your breweries. There are also 3 surprise beers that I'm going to throw in at some point or another and not tell you what's what or when.
I hope it's Sam Smith's IPA, which tastes nothing like a modern day IPA. It's really fucking with us.
Exactly.
I mean, we're going to find out here soon. I have a really hard time with keeping secrets, so this is like killing me inside.
Just ask questions
but-
throughout this thing.
yeah,
We'll figure it
yeah.
out before it even
No.
happens.
All right.
Listen for if it's a crown cap or a pop
Yeah,
top,
there
and we'll
you go.
fucking know some things.
I should have made an isolation booth. Should have made an isolation booth.
Just open it really slowly.
Kill 10 minutes
But
of the podcast.
once we get going here, Marty and I we're gonna flip our visors down,
That is correct.
just like Star Wars. Use the Force.
Put down your blast shields. Put down your blast
That's right,
shields
that's
and
right.
use the force.
and we're gonna try and figure out these
going
beers.
dark.
Yep. So I am going to step off. Are you guys? Do we need to get through these beers? Do you need to finish yours before we get
Marty
started
needs
here,
to-
Marty?
Yeah, I got to get into a proper
I can grab
mindset.
myself a fresh one.
There you go. Josh is going to go grab a fresh one. I got to rinse all your glasses anyway. and-
My glass is rinsed and unused.
And unused.
I knew not to taint it. I've just been hitting this delicious Melvin Hazy IPA from the can.
You said taint.
Well, we say a lot of things on this show that.
I personally, Josh and I will not be joining in the tasting. I mean, I will be tasting beers with you guys, but this is going to be basically the two of you, and your depth of perception when it comes to tasting beers blind.
I like to think, Siege, you're going to get really confused. Aren't all
I'm
your
mostly just here for the
recipe
show on
clones?
this episode.
I'll drink to that.
That was a fantastic shot across the bow. Oh, that's brewing humor that I think only brewers are truly going to appreciate. How much that hurts so fucking good, as the Cougar once said. God damn it. Yes,
Christ.
that is correct. I don't write original recipes. I'm more of a cover song kind of brewer and tribute band kind of brewer. That's really what I do.
Hey,
you
it's
know?
working for you.
I can knock out Firestone Walker DBA like it's the back of my right hand. So
I'm more of a parody brewer. It's like I'll take somebody else's stuff and do something else with it.
just add some
just,
juice.
it's just
Yeah.
like, hey, this could do something.
Yep. It's like, oh, this recipe looks nice. I wonder wonder how this would taste if I added this.
Well, you know,
Splash.
there's some Perry brewers who have made it through GABF. I know this for a fact. So, you know, to each
Yeah.
their own.
That's most of the home brewers, I'm guessing, at this point, honestly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I feel like my
Yeah.
my hef or no, was it my Heffy? No, my Kolsch probably would have tabled. I don't think I would have meddled, but I definitely would have made a table with that one. That one was super fucking good.
Yeah.
And actually, those were words from CJ's mouth. He's like, this would probably table. He's like, I don't know if it would win, but it would definitely table.
Yeah.
Any brewery that can pull down those kind of awards, like they have done their work through and through. It's tabling is awesome.
Yep.
Tabling is fucking awesome. That just means that you are pretty goddamn good. Good enough for really, really great tasters to appreciate your beer. So
I'll
enough to
get, I'll get
table.
around to it as soon as the world stops ending and we can actually send and GABF as a thing again.
Yeah, it is a thing. They're doing it.
yeah, they did.
Are they doing it this year? I thought-
They did virtual GABF this year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now you can submit your beers in August and it happens in October.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. They are still planning to go ahead. We will have the Great American Beer Festival this year, just not like we normally do.
Yeah.
But they're still going to do.
Interesting.
It's all you can still send in your bottles and get your stuff ranked.
Yeah, because I think you can send in 3 to one of them. I can't remember which one you can throw in 3.
Yeah.
But if you do a collab, you can throw up to 5, just so you know.
It's good to know. It's good to know.
look at these two.
Me and Seth
I want
have been
to
talking
see
about
what
it,
I
yeah.
want to see what your sensory looks like here this day before we collaborate.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
But I would love to collaborate. It would give me another clone recipe to use.
Shit. I don't have anything for this. Damn it.
Where's the next
We're
homebrewer
sword
call?
fighting already. It's definitely happening.
There's gonna be a whole lot of backpedal
Oh,
Betty
man,
going
just
on
wait till
here.
I'm 8 beers deep, dude.
We might have to apologize to our coworkers at respective breweries after we get done with this. So
Well, luckily this episode won't come out until later in the week, so you've at least got a couple of days.
okay,
You've got a
I'm
few
going to need a
days
clone
Valentine's
recipe
Day.
for the apology. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you.
When I stopped into your CJ Backslope to pick up,
What'd you pick up?
I'm not going to tell you that. So you're not. No.
Sneaky, I like it. I like that strategy.
Sneaky little bastard.
What'd you try while you were there?
I actually didn't try anything. I tried to get out of there as quickly as possible. Is what I tried.
Yeah, well,
Smelt musty.
It was like, what is this awful smell in here?
let's make sure the rags from you two neutral parties go equal ways. Okay, we both are representing local businesses, small businesses.
Small, yeah.
Yeah, but whatever, man.
Oh, I
Two
know.
of my favorite ones out there. Yeah.
Leaves no rank, though.
Yeah, well, and he's wise to do that. You're only here for one day. He has to communicate
That's
with me on
true,
at
yeah,
least a
that's very
bi-weekly
true.
basis.
But I stopped in for a moment, and Spoon yelled through the kitchen window. She's like, "Hey, happy VD to you!" And I was just like, "God damn it! I fucking miss working with her."
We are lucky to have the crew that we have. There's some
Happy
good
VD.
souls.
Happy VD Day. Oh, wait, right. I've been calling it Singles Awareness Day, because fuck Valentine's Day. Because everyone in this room
That's what I'm
is
trying
single.
to do on Valentine's Day. It's just not working.
Everyone.
I
on this
tried to
podcast
stay
is
neutral
single.
in my snow report today. I wished everyone a happy Valentine's Day or Singles Awareness Day, whichever one you're celebrating. And then I proceeded to say that I was spending it with my one true love, the mountain.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
which
us.
one of
Damn,
those
you're
I'm
adorable.
celebrating.
You mean your one true love is in podcasting with us fucking idiots?
Yeah, that one. That's
Yeah.
Sorry, misspoke.
Softball that one in.
Long pause. All right.
Hard, long pause. All right, boys, are we ready to get into these?
I'm ready to start
I'm
drinking beer.
born and ready. This glass is too empty for my liking.
Okie
Yeah.
dokie. I'm going to go pour up some stuff and clean out because, although I like the fact that beer has got the
Great head retention.
great head retention.
Legs.
Carb.
Look at the
Legs.
legs.
Look at the legs. Look at the legs. All right.
But with the blast shield down, I can't see anything. Use the force.
Stretch out with your
Use
feelings.
the force.
Luke. That was a little bit more Hannibal than Obi-Wan. But,
Stretch out with your feelings, Clarice.
yeah.
The
the beer,
lamb's still
Clarice.
screaming, Luke. We were moisture farmers. We didn't have lambs.
What is moisture farming?
Oh, dude. You know what? I'm not going to expose my nerddom on this podcast. We can talk about that on the other one, but I
That's
do
fair.
have an
That's
answer to
fair.
that.
Moisture
Although the
farming's that
best
shit that we're
one
going to be
of the
doing
lines
100
I've
years
ever
from now
heard
on
in a
Earth.
Marvel movie was when Hawkeye is talking to Wanda, and he's like, "Listen, we're fighting robots from outer space on Earth, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes any sense." It's like just all total fourth wall break.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is awesome."
All right. Are we going visors down? Is this where we need to be?
You guys can chit chat for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to hear this crap.
I think he'll
Yeah,
tell you when
yeah,
you
you wanna
need the
hear-
visor down.
yeah, it's
That'll
gonna-
tell us
it's gonna be
everything.
a big sign right there.
They'll tell us everything that we need to know.
Cork and cage.
Oh,
That
man.
is
What's taking him so long?
something too fancy for my paycheck. Siege.
I know exactly what I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
I'm sipping on some fresh squeeze.
Good
from
for you.
Deschutes.
All right.
And where you're at, it probably
Figured
actually
you guys
is
were going
fresh.
with IPAs, and I'd pick up some IPA on my way down from the mountain. So
Fuck yeah, dude.
works out.
Yeah, I was 50-50 between fresh squeeze or Melvin. But once I saw Melvin, I'm like, you don't get that very often. Go
No, that's. I'm glad you did that. I mean, they're both great breweries, but again, as we've always mentioned in this podcast, getting beer in Montana that's unique is tough.
Yeah.
And getting beer, even that's something major distributed like Fresh Squeezed. If you look at the date codes, we're still running like a month behind
exactly,
on like when we
yeah.
get that stuff.
Right.
So
Actually, I'm curious the date code on this one.
Yeah, I couldn't find it on the Melvin, but granted, it didn't look that hard. I just saw 6.5%, and I said,
oh, there it is.
cool. See?
I mean, yeah, this one was actually packaged 12/22 of 20. So this is kind of an old fresh
going
squeeze
up.
considering
We're going into
the town it's made in.
We're going into it. We're here,
Marty.
Oh, and the masks are down, everybody.
and we're going.
Here we go. Beers are getting placed in hands.
CJ.
Thank you, sir.
That's-
Well, gosh, this is a Pinot Noir right off the bat, guys. I got red fruit, I got bright acidity, and it definitely seems like it could age for a couple years. Wait, what? We're on a beer pot. Okay, beer.
Hey,
All right.
yeah, it is.
Nope.
I mean,
Yep, we're on a beer podcast. We'll start a wine podcast eventually.
I'll miss that one. I don't know shit
Whoa.
about wine.
Ooh.
Not as bitter as I anticipated. Nice and fruity. I got like a lot of apricot.
This is so much fun knowing what you guys are drinking.
Yeah, dude, that's fruity as hell.
Yeah,
huh?
it's super fruity.
Apricot and like red berry too, right up the nose.
Yeah.
Good malt backbone.
Fun part
to
is
this.
Thomas just texted me what you guys are drinking, so now I get to know too.
That's probably what's going to happen, Josh, is I'm just going to text you as I do this because I'm not picking a specific order at all.
Works for me.
I feel like they probably use a little bit of crystal malt in here. I think that's what's adding to like red berry flavor.
You think that's crystal malt?
Yeah. I mean, because it still has like a lingering sweetness. It's not
Yeah.
fermenting all the way.
Or Vienna too, like just a big portion of Vienna malt maybe. It's got a really creamy mouthfeel to it. And yeah, we can quote that later in all the dirty jokes, guys.
Creamy mouthfeel.
That's how Grandma died.
Dude,
Oh, you beat me to it.
lot of apricot. Lot of apricot.
Yeah. Honestly, if I had to guess, this was going to be like a hazy style.
Some juicy fruit, a little bit of, actually too. Funny enough, like a little bit of that like lime zest or even kind of candy or bubble gum flavor in there. Hazy? You going for hazy? Yeah,
I mean,
are we
it
saying
feels like
intentionally
a
hazy,
hazy
or is it just going to be a chill haze?
Yeah,
beer?
that's a good call. Well, I mean, because like I said, I'm not getting as
It's-
much bitterness as I thought I would.
No, but I think it's boozy too. Like, and not in a bad way, but I mean, like, I think we're not getting bitterness because I think this is easily over 7.5. I could see this as a double IPA.
Yeah, I guess with the sweetness and stuff.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we're dealing with just a straight single IPA here.
I don't know. I'm still feeling a single IPA. I'm honestly thinking maybe like 7%, maybe 6.9, because that's funny.
Oh man, I feel like there's a little bit of weight to it. There's no heat, but there's a little bit of weight to it.
I don't know. But I can find out, dude. God damn, this is hard. At least we know it's an IPA. That was easy.
I have a feeling on this one as to what it might be, but I'm not gonna shout it out right now until we taste through a few other beers.
Okay.
It's just too. I mean, knowing what we know about this lineup, it's too early to jump into it. But I'm gonna remember this because I have a feeling on this one.
What's your
Okay.
feeling?
Well, while you're thinking about
Well-
it, before you try to guess anything, what are any of your critiques about that beer while you've got it
Yeah,
fresh in your mouth?
let's break it down because I can't.
Right
talk
off the
again.
bat, I could use a little bit of carbonation, but again, we know that some of our beers, because they came from certain breweries, we have some packaging formats. So I'm not going to try and dig too much into it, but I could use so it's not a knock, I guess, unless on discovering it's canned. But I think depending on its transportation or whatnot, I could use a little more fizz to it.
I mean, I'm going to blame the pourer for that one. Everything broke out when he
Blame
poured
Thomas.
it. That's
To be fair, a brewer
Wait, why
didn't
am I
pour
the
this
poor
beer. You know, I mean, I don't know.
No, you can't blame that on the pour. I poured those really nice. They had good head on them before they got to you. I know you couldn't. See
I
that.
can vouch for
That's a
that.
good
I
point.
saw them as they were getting handed to you. They had a nice head on them.
No, and I believe that. I mean,
I have my certified beer server thing. I know how to pour beer out of a can, out of a growler, out of a tap. I got all the
Hey, I
things.
still fail sometimes.
See,
and I
that's
do it
an
100
idea
times
because
a
a
day.
big part of sensory is actually the visual part. My thought is, why do we even have to be blindfolded as long as we don't see what beer's being poured, right?
Well, I talked to CJ about this, and the reason that we wanted to do it blind was because when you see a beer in a certain color or style, like you automatically already start to build like a flavor profile in your head. Like if you see a dark beer, you're going to expect things. If you see a straw-colored beer, you're going to expect things. If you see an amber beer, you're going to expect things. Okay. So we try to take that element out of it with this.
Also, I think that you and I can. Well, I think we'd stand a chance at readily visually identifying our beers.
Yeah,
That's
like one that
like,
pops in my head.
If we were doing a straight IPA
tasting,
tasting, and as long as we didn't see things, I don't think we need visual restriction. But because I think the point is hopefully to get ourselves to talk shit on ourselves as well as each other in the most loving of ways. I think the idea is that not being able to see what this is.
Yeah, give you that predisposition to it. I guess that's fair. I can drink that.
It could. I think for my personal flavor on IPAs, if we're going to go criticisms again, I think the bitterness could ramp up a touch.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
But it's got wonderful aromatics. It's got a really strong first flavor on the palate. And
I will give you
juicy fruit all the way through. So.
2 pieces of information about this beer.
Okay.
It's 6.4%.
Oh shit! I was way off.
Idiot ass.
It's 6.4%, and it's 60 IBU.
Really? Okay. I see it. And that's where the IBU scale is bunk. I would not have put this at 60.
That's almost why I'm thinking it's
crystal,
a hazy.
Or it's got some crystal malt in there too. I think you're right on it.
Yeah, I feel like this is just like, a shit ton of Whirlpool hops, heavy dry hop.
Now
I couldn't even guess what kind of hop. You're the hop expert. I don't know what you could dry hop with to make that apricot flavor.
I am now also enjoying this beer with you guys. I was finishing my first beer. I'm trying to cut down on my drinking, honestly, because I drink far too much these days being unemployed. I've been through like a 12-pack a day. It's not good for me. But
no, absolutely.
I don't get it, but...
To each their own.
To each.
I got an oxidized keg at home.
I've had a handful today. I mean, what else do you do when you're skiing?
That's right.
Well, you're burning calories. You got to reconsume them. That makes sense to me.
Exactly. You got to... Well, and you got to stay hydrated, right?
Yep.
Are you guys... All right, I want to field some questions.
Yeah.
What do you think overall?
Okay.
Overall, I think this is a really good beer.
Super tasty. Super tasty.
Any ideas on what you think it might be? You don't have to pick a specific style, but maybe like see if you can nail down what brewery it came from.
Yeah, totally.
See, like specific style, I'm thinking like hazy IPA.
Hazy IPA. I can get with
thinking.
something that's either labeled hazy or juicy. I'm going to go ahead and take a side guess at that there is some mosaic in this. Not a ton, but a good handful of it because I'm getting that stinky pineapple underneath all that apricot flavor.
Now, I'm tasting this beer as well, and I'm getting a bit of astringency on the back of my tongue. So if that lends to any sort of your hop definitions.
I mean, I don't think whatever brewery this is, they're not using the necessarily the super clean bittering hops. They definitely have a little bit of stinky green character to them, which is totally appropriate depending on the IPA you want to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's not oniony by any means.
No. But just kind of that like fuller bitter rather than just that clean laser focus stuff, which is kind of narrowing down. Like I think I could maybe take a stab at a brewery, but I don't think I could get much farther than that in terms of brands.
All right, let's hear it. What do you got? What do you think?
I'm almost thinking, does Draftworks has a haze? Because this has, like, I feel like it's Draftworks.
Oh, you think
But that's
it's
about all.
Draftworks?
That's all I can think right now. Is I don't
Wait,
know if
can
they
I
have
ask,
hazy.
are these all local beers or just beers that you can get locally? That's a big one for us. And you can refuse to tell us that, but...
Other than the beers I picked up from each of your brewery, these are beers that, yes, they can be picked up almost anywhere.
Okay, copy.
I like to
Okay,
assume so.
Copy.
You didn't just drive
I had to
to
think
California
about
and get some
how to
shit.
verse that without actually
without
giving
giving-
away what it was.
They're not all necessarily local directly to there. Some of them are more local than others.
Okay.
Oh, man, the more
a
I
good one,
think
Josh.
about it, the more it fucks with me a little bit. I'm going to go Odell, though.
Oh,
I think it might be
like
Odell.
This. I like this. So you're thinking Odell, and you're thinking
I should have a
Draftworks.
pen and paper
Yeah.
and be writing this shit down.
I think it might be Odell. They have a big presence
yeah,
out
'cause
here.
now you got me
They have
second-guessing.
they have APA, IPA, Mountain Standard IPA, and a hazy IPA all available. And They like those. They like those fruit forward hops.
And they do. Yeah, they're Mountain Standard.
Do you think? I mean, I can't remember the last time I've had Mountain Standard, but in a weird way, like now that you say, I mean, the placebo effect's taking it, and I'm like, is this Mountain Standard?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you hear it once, you're like, oh fuck, I know what
my
it is.
God,
This
that might
is-
be this.
This
I
is
don't know
too
if I
easy.
could name a brand
I mean,
for
maybe
sure,
it
but
is. Maybe it isn't. I'm not going to tell you until we're done.
Turns
I
out the next
feel-
one's also going to be Mountain Standard. It's
I
not gonna
feel
taste
good with
different.
my guess
literally
being
just
Odell.
the same beer I'm pouring for you 5 times to see if you can really like.
I have been gotten by that trick at a wine tasting
That would
one
be
time.
funny.
Down actually at our own Tailing Loop Winery in Evergreen. I would used to like to go in and have Meredith, the owner, and she usually is bartending as well, pour me some blind tastes and I'd take stabs. And she has before duplicated the same wine multiple times and not told me, and I've made a complete ass
Fool
of
of yourself.
myself,
Yeah.
you know? Like, because in your head you're like, oh yeah, she's giving me something to...
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
this is going to
you know.
be a different wine.
The perception of everything that happens in a tasting is so important because you taste with your eyes, with your nose, with your mouth, with your brain, all at these different intervals of time. And so, you know, it's just, it's easy to get got. And that's why there's rules to those tastings too, where it's like, you know, like when you go to GABF, for example, they can't do that to you. That's not the point of the tasting. So this is just fucking around.
What's up, Josh?
So the 2 guesses we got now are Droughtworks and Odell.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna put those beer number 1.
All right.
Your thoughts are Odell. Your thoughts are Draftworks.
Yep.
Okay, I really like the
I
feedback.
got those written down so we don't forget.
Thank you, Josh. And I really like the way that you guys like kind of bounced off each other with like flavors and stuff. That was kind of neat to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I feel like conversation is probably a big thing they even do for the tastings and stuff. You know, they usually have multiple people drinking
Yes.
the same
Yes.
beer.
And I would tell you that even when I encourage servers at the Backslope Brewery to taste with somebody.
Yeah, bounce
Because
off.
I
Like,
might
what you're
not have.
thinking.
I was very much drawn to a red fruit note, and the minute you said apricot, there wasn't a placebo. It was just more like, oh yeah, it's very fleshy, stone fruit, and you know sometimes you taste things and you don't quite in the moment have the vocabulary.
Exactly.
To catch
Yeah,
up
you
with
can't
it.
put the words to it, and so this will make it
Which is
easier.
why I really like tasting with you both, honestly, Josh and CJ.
I can't see who he's pointing at. I'm still visored down.
Actually, you guys are done with those beers, so visors up.
Okay, visor's up. All
God
right.
damn, it's bright in here.
I can't tell by that.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it?
You intentionally left a little bit in. Mine.
It's incredibly oxidized right now, is what it is. It's not. It's just a little bit. When you drink a beer straight through fresh, and then you take the last swill of it, it's gnarls.
I mean, I would like to point out there are some chunkies.
Are there some floaties in
Yeah,
there?
there are some floaties. It looks like yeast.
It might be a
honestly.
Sacred Waters beer that I know it's not.
We'll put a chunky keg of Bob on.
We will get back to that when we're done with these beers.
That sounds like a hint. All of a sudden, I'm thinking.
I had to fire one back.
I think I can't wait to get through the rest of these because when I actually tell you what each of these beers are at the end, you're going to be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Are
It's
you
going to be
serious?"
really funny.
And we're only on the first beer.
I know.
Are we ready for round 2?
Do we
need
How many
palate cleansers?
how
Do we
many
need-
beers are we doing? That's what I would like to know.
We're
So
tasting.
that's
We're tasting 5.
5.
5. Hey, that's a good number.
Yep.
No, let's just keep rolling.
Yeah, keep
Okay.
going.
Our palates are in it now.
You guys keep chit
I gotta
chatting.
fuck my palate up a little more.
Time for the next pour.
That's right. We're only going to get better at this, or much worse at
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I feel like this is just going downhill from here on out.
I'm extremely
Want to hand me
excited
one of
to
those
see how the
cans,
rest of this
Siege?
goes.
This is not how a professional tasting goes.
Yeah,
just
right.
to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
the good can.
That's
Take
the
the shit can.
I'm literally tainting the shit out of my palate right now.
No, I know, but that's the joke being, guys, this is for fun. This is not how the pros do it.
No. Beanies over their eyes. Yeah.
Can you imagine
whole
the guys
point
at
of this show, just
GABF
having
being
fun?
like, "Do you think it's fucking Fremont Brewing, bro? You think it's Fremont? No, it's too bitter for Fremont.
Yeah. This is definitely a hazy. I just looked at it. It's crystal clear.
It's definitely hazy. Yeah, bro, we're tasting the hazy IPA category right now. I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking nailing
Blows
it.
my mind too.
Actually, there's for our listeners out there to be interested too. This is kind of an interesting way to look at like the tasters that have to taste through IPAs at GABF, or the tasters that have to taste through something as intense as like sours at GABF.
Yeah.
We're tasting 5 beers today, and I promise you, by the 5th beer of straight IPA, our palates are
it's
going to be
just
decimated.
wrecked, yeah.
Are going to be decimated. You know what I mean? Like,
Everything's-
there's like. And we certainly didn't throw out the podcast is too poor to throw out the crackers and the mineral water right
Just
now.
slugging on saltines and water mixed
But it
together.
it's an amazing thing that every brewery that I've worked with or worked at or brewers that I've talked to think about that too when they submit their beers to JBF. It's like when you submit an IPA these days, you're going into a 500 plus deep category.
Yeah.
And you have to think to yourself, a lot of that's luck is to when the taster tastes your beer. Because no matter how much you cleanse your palate, after 14 straight IPAs,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Those hops are just
you're-
going to fuck your
you're
tongue
gonna
no
be-
matter
you're gonna be
what.
You're
wrecked.
not. Yeah.
you know,
Do the professional
And then you get
guys
that one
have a
brewery
way
that puts in
to,
like a
like,
really,
prevent
really
that from happening
sticky,
as
dank
far as, like, palate
IPA,
cleansers
and you
between,
get that
or
in the
do you
middle
just
of your
have to, like, take
tasting
the
flight,
time?
and you're just
Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
for the rest of the
you
time
didn't. He
you're
kept
done.
going.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
I heard both those points. Yes, Josh, you're absolutely right. And they obviously do have ways. They do try and the way they organize the tables and things like that, and who's tasting what, and they always have palate cleansers and things like that. I know that some of the tasters, all they do is take very, very tiny sips. Some of them spit, some of them, whatever. But I wasn't going to finish that because we didn't need any more dirty jokes on this podcast. Enough are going to come naturally.
We already know you don't swallow. you have
Josh didn't.
you have made that very clear. Remember talking about your truck stop glory hole? With
I
the
do.
5
I do.
S's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Swallowing wasn't one of them.
No, it wasn't. It does not make it into the
That's
5.
true. Yep.
Does not make it
Swallowing
the 5.
got left out.
There's definitely ways,
He's a
but
quitter.
like any tasting, again, there's drift, there's variance, right?
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
because the more that you're doing something, even your level of overall intoxication changes how you taste things.
Yeah,
So,
towards the end of the day, yeah, even if it
Oh,
is a multi-day
absolutely.
event.
I was
No, it's great. You get that like one really drunk dude who's like, "Yeah, give me another whiskey Coke," and you pour like a fucking half an ounce of whiskey in it, and he's not going to know the difference between a half an ounce of whiskey in his Coke and 5 ounces of whiskey in his Coke.
Yeah.
You can't taste that shit anymore.
yep. Which now we know, Josh sometimes soft pours. He's a smart bar. He's making that company extra money. Your company should be very proud of you. I think the biggest way they do.
I soft pour the really drunk, annoying people so I can heavy pour my friends.
Yeah. And
so,
I
we're
guess
going to
Balances
Oregon.
out.
I guess
So
we're going to
Oregon anytime soon.
next podcast is going to be over at Josh's place.
Bye from J-Dub.
Oh, I
I
wasn't
got
going
this
to
shit
say
worked
it.
out.
The biggest way they separate it at GABF and real tastings is that if you're tasting initial beers that have not been tasted yet, i.e. you're at the first table, you're at the first tasting, the tasters are largely encouraged to just specifically look for flaws. So that's a lot. I know that's how GABF is organized, is that if you make it past the first table, what they're saying is you've made and packaged a very clean beer. The second table starts to
it
look
is
at
too style.
stylistic. Yeah, exactly.
Do you fit within the
Right.
definitions of what
And
the
then
style of
if
beer
you
that
can pass
submitted
those
was?
tables of again, just clean, healthy beer, and then is it to style? Is it appealing? Does it, work? Then you essentially make it to a table where they start breaking down, hey, whoa, this is obviously much better preserved. This has great flavors. It's all balanced.
Yeah, and it's all dependent on the category.
Yes, yes. But I know for a fact that the first table, they're literally looking at, and you can go and download the PDF, what the GABF style guidelines are. Do these beers fit into those guidelines? Because they know that they're tasting barley wines or barrel-aged beers or browns, ambers, and reds.
Yeah.
I think those are still one category.
I
So what do these guys use for palate cleansers in between beers?
I think water. Honestly, I think
Water?
I think
Just
good
clean it-
like
just clean it
good
off.
distilled or
Water,
mineral water.
maybe saltine
Yeah,
sugar.
There's
yeah,
like,
got,
a bowl of
saltines
sherbet
around.
laying
yeah,
around.
yeah.
Pickled ginger.
A little pickled ginger.
But again, what helps is having all these tasters again broken up to category of specific.
right,
Like what do you
right.
look like? The first level tasters, they are looking
Yeah.
for, is there diacetyl? Is there
That's always-
acetaldehyde? Is there ethyl acetate where there shouldn't be?
Does this taste like cardboard, but butter, or like
they're
garbage?
looking for oxidized. They're looking for those things. If you make it to the second table, they're not looking for that anymore because they know you don't have it. You've made it that level.
Yeah, now they're judging on the quality at that point as opposed to.
And since we're
Just-
talking about it, we already finished it, but that's first time that we're doing this kind of a tasting. But I didn't get much of an off flavor of any kind off the last
No,
IPA.
I didn't get diacetyl, which is always the main one I'm trying to look because I'm not sensitive. to
Right, that's something that
diacetyl,
you're
so
not
I
as
gotta-
particular to.
That's one I got to focus on quite a bit, but
Visors down.
visors down.
Visors down.
Dude, I didn't
We
even-
got the second beer coming out.
If anything, I got a slight touch of what that thought of oxidation comes from sometimes using crystal malts. But thank you, sir. Thank
Well,
you,
and like
sir.
acetaldehyde can
Oh
be.
man, guys, can you
result.
just take a second to appreciate that beautiful head on that? It just looks so good.
I can't. That's cheating.
Part of my brain actually told me, he's like, oh, Josh, right. Josh, I should be looking at this beer right now. I should do
Right,
that.
dude? I think so. So, like, doing, like, sensory classes at FECC for the Brewing Academy, like, we were always looking at our beer. Because
Right.
that's, like, a big thing, you know, like, head retention.
Right.
You know, all the lacing and everything for it. You know, that's a big part
Right.
for
And
stylistically
At
judging.
competitions like GABF, they're not blindfolded. They are looking at these beers. They already know they're in the IPA category.
Yeah.
But again, what they're looking for is head retention, lacing.
SRM, you know,
yep.
they want to make sure that color
That
is
color
fitting
is
appropriately.
in the appropriate range.
Yeah, you've got a small window of SRM to fit within for most beers.
Yeah, certain
Oh.
beers. Like,
Hey,
I
Visor down.
I didn't do it. I didn't see anything, but I accidentally flicked it.
I mean it's okay because the actual containers for this beer are in the other room, so you can't see it anyway. But Josh knows what's about to go down. Which
This one actually looks really similar to the last beer.
Yep.
Just, I mean, from over a Zoom call and, the quality that provides. It looks pretty similar, but
Super smooth bitterness again.
Yeah.
Really smooth
well,
bitterness.
and it's more bitterness than the last one.
yeah,
Like, it's
I get a
more
little
of
bit sharper
notable-
bitterness on this one for sure.
I get more snap crackle pop, but it's not as dirty or green as the other one. And those are not detractors from the other one. That's
No.
But
This is why we're doing this.
This is laser focused on the bitterness.
Yeah, I get that quick bitterness astringency, but it doesn't linger. It
Yeah.
doesn't stay in the palate forever.
The aroma's awesome. The first flavor notes are a little soft, but they're really good. Just a lot of
I should be like holding up cards to the camera so everyone
Yeah.
watching can know what
Yeah, we didn't really think about that, I guess.
No, I'll edit that in post.
Okay.
I can put that in.
Okay,
that would be
post.
great.
I am texting
Please
Josh,
make a
the
card
owner
that
of these
says
beers.
"a sphincter says what" if we get an appropriate moment for that. Please do that.
Can we
for
can
us.
we make one like from Clerks that just says "I assure you we are open"?
Honestly, I almost get like a little bit of orange creamsicle.
Ooh, yeah.
That's fun. You know what? I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Also, again, I am in the room with Josh, or Josh is not in the room. I'm in the room with Marty and CJ.
Yep.
Josh is in the
So I
bathroom.
do have the ability to taste the same beers that these guys do in the same order. Josh unfortunately doesn't, but he does have a few of the beers on the locally stuff, like the local stuff that you can get in either Montana or Oregon. So he has at least those for reference.
I really like this beer.
This is a great beer. I like it better than the last one, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
I needed something with a little more bitterness in me.
I always want to find a criticism right off the bat for any compliment I give. But it's got a really intense, super fun fruit flavor, but the flavors are a little muddled, and so it's hard to pick out individual things. But lots of citrus, lots of creamy citrus.
Yeah.
Definitely some tangerine kind of notes in there too, and there's even like a zip of that very classic West Coast like ruby red grapefruit that's kind of lingering over the top of everything. I mean, it's
I think that's the
it's
astringency
very
that
much-
I taste is
it's-
very
it's-
it's like a grapefruit astringency.
It's very
there's
citrusy.
pithy
Yeah,
grapefruit,
pithy.
a
Tropical.
Yeah, for sure.
lot of peels, and lots of like. I mean, if you literally like covered orange, lemon, lime, and grapefruit peels in some ratio and sugar and just let it sit, like that's kind of what this smells like.
How do you feel about the malt profile?
It's cleaner than the last one, but it's still. I would imagine this beer is kind of an orangish color. There's still. They've worked on some. They've brought some kind of malt in there that's not just Pilsner or two row for sure.
See, I was thinking it was only Pilsner or 2-row.
Really, you think
Yeah,
it's
I don't-
100% something?
Maybe not 100%, but like my
Could be.
majority.
I mean, I think I side with CJ on this one though. It's like it might be more of like a Vienna or a Munich.
I'm getting some Munich malt notes in there, and not a lot, but enough that you maybe oranged up the beer a little bit, and you gave it some. There's a little like tone of biscuit behind everything, which is really. I always like that with citrus style flavors. It kind of gives that bread and fruit kind of a combination, which
Opens
works
up
really well. Yeah,
Complementary flavors within the beer itself.
See, and me personally, if they have done that, I mean, it's at a very low amount. That's like up to like maybe 5%.
sure. This is good though.
Honestly, it almost tastes like our Bob before we buy
Thomas, do you have the stats on the ABV of that one? And gentlemen, before he gives those, if he has them, do you have a guess on the ABV on that one?
Honestly, I'm thinking it was probably around like the same as the last one. It's just tasting cleaner. It's got that
Yeah.
little sharper bitterness to it.
Like
If
just
ain't-
o-
yeah, if
open
anything,
like
a little-
mid-range sixes.
Yeah, because what was the last one? That one was
The 6.4 was the
6.4.
last one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking it's probably around 6.4.
I was way off on the last one because I
Yeah,
did,
that's
I
true. You
did,
thought
I
it was
did
a-
feel
you
like it was
thought-
weightier on the alcohol, and I missed that completely. And so that's kind of fucking with my brain. But this one doesn't feel nearly as weighty. It feels very dry and clean.
Yeah.
I would wager to bet it it'd fit in about 2 Plato.
Yeah, that's
for
what
the
I'm
beer nerds
guessing,
out
too.
there.
It's
It's
in the low
dry.
2s for the-
So I'm gonna give it between 6.5 and 7. You know, I'll give a little range. I don't have a specific number. I bet you a little higher than the other one but I like that it's clean, whereas the other one felt like it wasn't quite.
Had more body.
Had
to
more
it,
body.
yeah.
So I'll jump in at 6.8, and we'll see what happens there.
I'm still thinking it's about 6.4.
Okay. All right.
I do have the statistics for this beer. You're wrong.
Who's wrong?
Both of
Everyone.
God damn it.
you. 7.3, 70 IBU.
7.3. Wow, that's impressive. Honestly, like 7.3, I'd expect to get some booziness out of it, but I don't get
Yeah,
any.
you don't
So
you don't
if
get
you,
any.
if you guys flip those that beer in the first one, you get the ABVs right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. You know, that's
7.3. Wow.
yeah.
Man, this thing's a scary beer.
It's a crusher for
I
7.3.
I drink the shit out of this. All of a sudden, I'm blacked out in 2 hours.
brewery guesses.
Oh.
Or let's style guesses. I mean, we are in the IPA realm. So style.
I don't stop because there are some of those like that we could buy locally that are like 7.3 that they call imperial or double at 7. You know, it seems like all the ones that get like brought here into Montana, if they're around like 6 to 6.5, that's when they call it an IPA.
Interesting.
When it's at least from my
Once it gets
observation,
over
once
7,
it's
they go
over
to the
7,
double.
From the
yeah,
West Coast.
double or imperial or something. That's what they will.
Dude, there's
I'll
so
see.
many monikers for an IPA that just has more alcohol in it. It's like you get a double IPA or an imperial IPA or
A triple IPA.
a triple IPA
yeah.
or like what did I read the other day? It was like an extra IPA.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what? Can we just pick a name and fucking stick with it?
The first time we canned at Sacred,
The
I brewed a pale ale, and I overjudged how strong our yeast was going to be because we were using a new strain. Ended up being 7% for a pale ale.
I remember that
So
day.
Hey,
we labeled it extra pale ale.
Extra pale ale.
I did the same thing on a homebrew level. I tried to replicate Sierra Nevada's pale.
Cloning.
And I tried to clone it, and instead of it coming out at 5.6,
Never done that.
It came out at 6.8, and I was like, "Oops, this is an American strong pale."
Yep.
That's it, and that's how I labeled it.
Yeah.
I would wager to guess that's how the style of extra pale ale came to be.
Yeah, it's just someone
It's just
fucked
like
up.
someone
It's
was like,
this
"Fuck,
is too much
shit,
alcohol."
we went too high. What do
Yeah.
we do with it?"
Oh, and Josh, to answer your question, it's Torpedo from Sierra Nevada that they call an extra IPA.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
that
have
is,
seen
yeah.
that one.
Yep, they call it an extra IPA, but you see like DIPA or IIIPA or this or that. I'm just like, can
Oh,
we
yeah,
just like pick
no.
a name and stick with it, please?
I'm gonna make a hoppy IPA.
Hoppy IPA.
Hoppy IPA.
Extra hoppy IPA, yeah.
Marty, are you done with yours?
Oh, no, but I'm getting close. I
Okay,
think.
you're getting close. I'm going to wager a guess. And I'm going to wager a guess based on the fact that we know the rules of this game. We know that there are going to be at least one beer from each of our breweries in this.
Okay.
I think this is a Backslope beer.
I think so. Is your IPA 7.3%?
Yeah.
Is that what you're basing that
my
off
current
of?
IPA, my current rotating IPA is 7.3%. So that might actually fuck me in the end by me basing that off that. But once he said 7.3 and 70, those numbers, and then combined with the flavors that I'm tasting, I'm willing to bet a little bit of shame and my reputation on taking a
That
stab
it's
and
yours?
saying
Well, we'll find out
Hey,
in a little bit
might-
if you're right or wrong, bro.
that might be a Backslope beer.
I'm sticking with CJ then. He knows the numbers. So I
All
trust
right.
that.
I'm dragging Marty along to the finish line.
Okay. All right.
I knowing what's on, I think it might be Broken Paddles from Backslope Brewing. But
Seeing you brought us a grunt of that a while ago, but it was a while ago.
it was a while ago, and I think actually it was long enough ago. It was a different batch too.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it might have been anyway. But this feels like
So you're trying to tell me your consistency's not there. All right, I'll drink.
oh wow.
Ooh, shots fired.
And the brewer battle begins.
I'm trying to tell you that I might be an artist and you might be a scientist, and both are okay. We need both. You know.
You guys could take your visors off too. By the way.
Oh yeah. Your
I like that
visors up, kids.
We're
Visors
talking
up.
shit without making eye contact. And that's
I'm just doing this a lot. Just a
harder
lot
to
of
do.
sideways pointing.
The funny thing is watching you guys sideways point when you're blindfolded. You don't really actually know where each other is. Like your perception of where you're
Am I like
sitting.
pointing over
So
there
you're,
like fuck
pointing at
you,
the
buddy?
window. CJ's pointing at me, think he's talking to you.
Well, and over Zoom too, because just the way the cameras work, if you point one way, you're actually pointing off
it's all
the
flipped,
screen.
it's all mirrored. Yeah.
It's all fucking backwards.
I know. I like that beer better than the last one.
Really?
Honestly, it's
Really?
it's cleaner, drier. Because I prefer a drier
It's
IPA.
dry.
you
The
know?
thing that was sticking
Yeah.
out to me most in
Much
anything is that it's
drier.
dry.
Much
it's drier.
drier.
Yeah.
And that's
What-
something that we both prefer in beer.
That's
you
something
know.
I want to know. What was the finishing gravity of your IPA that you're?
I shoot to have almost all my single IPAs, and I say almost, like I'm talking 95 to 99% of my single IPAs, I shoot to have them finish below 2.5, and I
Okay.
prefer 2 to 1.75.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I like dry.
Yeah. And what did this? What you said was the broken paddle? Or-
Broken paddles, and I think that finishes about a little below the 2.5 mark.
Okay,
Just
good.
because the original concept for the IPA was to make a red IPA. We all know that sometimes branding it that way doesn't quite work, but I wanted to make a bigger. I was thinking about Bear Republic's Racer 5
I don't think
back
I've
in the
ever
day.
had that.
Now it's a original San Diego craft brewery. Racer 5 and Racer X were very big notoriety single and double IPAs respectively, like back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and just that more like
So before
piney
we-
bitterness with like fresh fruit or fresh citrus up front, not as juicy as we're going for with everything
So
else.
far, all your descriptions is kind of convincing me. This is what that was.
I really,
but-
I'm
and you
I'm
said
actually
the
pretty
color,
set on it, but I
can
mean,
see 2 drops left in there.
here's the thing: is I feel like
Well-
jumping into your own brewery recommendation or that's early is dangerous, but it's no more dangerous than doing it late. You
Then
know,
let me
'cause
ask you. Then let me ask you the follow up. Flaws.
it tastes a little. It tastes a little old. Not in an oxidized way, but hops and their depreciation value. I think we've learned recently more than ever that hops start fading.
quick.
quick.
Yeah, they have a much shorter shelf
It
life.
has a nice flavor to it. Whatever beer it is, I'm thinking about it now completely. Not like whatever beer it is, has a really nice flavor to it. Really nice full citrus flavor, and it's dry and it's crushable for
Well,
the
and-
ABV
and
that
I
it is.
think it's still got that clean bitterness, so that's why I'm thinking it's not very old.
Yeah.
You know, that clean bitterness.
It is really clean.
Usually that ends up being more cloying. It'll stay on your palate a little longer.
I loved the aroma. I just felt like the mouth, the initial taste when it hits your tongue felt a little flabby. And I think that just comes sometimes from being old in the keg.
So I've learned from Bob Hall, flabby means a little salty. It's a
Whoa, okay.
That's fun.
It's Bobby Hall.
It's a grand master tasting term. Flabby
Jesus.
is
Flabby is a term that representative of salty.
salty. Yeah, that's how Bob
Interesting.
Hall describes our lager. Because we'd use a water softener at Sacred.
Yep.
You know, because we got so much calcium. We're well water. He always has described our lager as flabby.
Interesting.
And me and Seth were both
Now-
like, "What the fuck? That's not a term."
When you
made
say
that
salty,
up."
are you talking like table salt? Or are you talking like ocean salt?
No, like a little bit of like that salt that you're using in your water softener.
Oh,
Mi-
okay.
mi-
It
like
does-
just minerality, like
just-
just
yeah,
a,
it does.
mineral
It
sauce,
does have
okay.
that sodium to it. So,
Oh, okay.
And
So-
with a light beer like a lager,
yeah.
it's
And
it
for the
comes through
listeners-
Could be like a
more.
like a calcium chloride or something that's
No, not necessarily that. It's like it's
it's
like
NaCl.
sodium.
It's NaCl.
It's
It's
NaCl.
sodium's got to be present in that.
Yeah, and yeah, it adds like a little saltiness, and for some reason, flabby is the term.
Right.
Doesn't make sense to me. But
Well,
I guess
hey, whatever,
that is
man.
the
For
term.
our listeners, Bob Hall is a resident of Ronan in Montana,
Yes, he
right?
is.
And he
Yep.
is a not only
No,
is
no,
he
he's a resident of Big Fork.
Big Four.
Yeah, like a little outside of Wayfarers.
But is kind of one of the primary contributors to the new the newish Ronan Co-op Brewery,
Yep.
which you and I have been to, and which was making
Good beer,
fantastic beer.
Yeah.
And he is also a water chemist by trade, I believe. So
Yeah, works for
when he
the-
comes to us and at our breweries and tells us things are flabby, we're very keen to listen to what he's talking about. He knows water
He knows what he's
chemistry
talking about.
Like you
down
said,
to
he's,
its
he's a
teeth.
grandmaster.
And he's a
in the
grandmaster
BJCP.
taster with BJCP.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him here as a resource in the valley. He fucking kills
And for those that are listening, when these guys are talking about like finishing numbers at like 2 to 2.5, they're talking about Plato and not specific gravity. So for those that are listening, if you're trying to understand what they're talking about, where they finish their beers, these guys are pro brewers, and they talk in Plato, not in specific gravity like 1050 or 1013 or whatever it is. So if you're out there listening to this and you want to get better at understanding that portion of making beer, move to the Plato system and get away from SG.
Well, and honestly, Plato system, it's just an easier system to
It's
use.
like
I
going
think
from
that-
American to the metric. Like it's
Yeah.
once you go to Plato, you will not go back. It's
Yeah.
super easy. And the conversion, by the way, for anyone who's interested, I believe is 4.1 multiplication.
Yeah, it's...
So to Plato, you're looking at 1008 right there on your specific gravity. A little bit of change, but 1008. But it's a 4-time multiplier, and for us, once you start using it, you don't even do the math anymore. You're just like, I know what 14 Plato is going to deliver me.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so it's a really simplified system. It sounds like we're talking gibberish and smart. We made it.
And
No,
that's why,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
why, that's why I
we
wanted
made
to
it
make
simpler.
that clear to these people.
Yeah.
That like they're talking something simpler than SG and doing the math for SG,
Yeah.
but it sounds more complicated than it actually
Right.
is.
We actually went from laces back to Velcro instead of the other way around.
Dude, I fucking love Velcro.
One to anyone
I can't
wondering
wait to
where
be,
the
like, 65
naming
years
scheme
old
of
with
our
Velcro
episodes
shoes.
come from, Plato 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just get more intense with the higher the
Plato
Plato.
1 is a little drier, you know, because we're tasting. Everything is
Yep.
super
Yep.
specific.
Closer to
Plato 2
zero.
is a little bit sweeter because we talk about, you know, a little bit more about life stuff. Plato 3 is going to be the sweetest because we talk about
Heavy shit.
we
Kissing
talk
each
about
other
the heavy
and
shit.
whatnot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are we ready for round trace?
Been ready.
Yes.
Been
Okay.
ready.
Oh, yeah.
Time to clean it up and go back.
I,
be honest,
I already
I don't-
know this is going to be a little hazy from Deschutes. I already know it.
I already know I don't feel confident at all anymore. My confidence has dropped down.
I know. After the first guess, when I was
You're
off by
both
the
wrong.
ABV that high, I was just like,
Like-
man, this is so hard, dude. This is so
Who
hard.
came up with this idea? This is the
I
dumbest
did.
thing
I'm
ever.
going to embarrass myself. I hope no matter what else I get wrong, if I got number 2 right, that'll be a.
Well, and that's the good. I piggybacked off of you, so if you get number 2
I
right,
know. I'm
do
hedging
as
your bets
well.
on mine,
Yeah,
dude.
Exactly.
Buy short on GameStop.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, after today, I'm just gonna go buy.
Buy
like,
Dogecoin. Buy all the Dogecoin right now. Please, because I bought a bunch of it and I need it to go up.
I need you to fail so I can succeed. Capitalism, baby. Oh man, those are both really good IPAs, though. I do want
Dude,
to
I
just
like
double
that
back.
second one way better.
Yeah. I mean, like, but if I hadn't had the second one, the first one was really nice. It was just a little. It was a little cloying on some part of it, sweeter malty, and I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what it was.
definitely a lot sweeter, and I think that's why I like that second one so much.
Dry.
More. It's
You
dry.
and I, you and I have few things in common other than being bearded brewers, but we like like dry beers.
I've already told you this. I
I
feel
mean,
like
could you
it's
really
a
be a brewer
requirement.
without a beer?
Exactly,
I've
dude.
met
It's a
a couple
requirement.
clean shaven ones. I've met a couple actually award-winning clean shaven ones, but it never feels quite
Those
right.
are the women brewer, and they are way better than we are. And that's not fair.
Okay, well, the women brewers, I get them not having a beard, but their hair should be long enough they could braid it to make it look like one at the very least.
Visors down. As we say that, all respect for the Pink Boot Society and women brewers out there everywhere. We want to see more of you guys. But Josh, if Josh knows about braiding beards, that's what he knows about. So listen to him.
Yeah.
There's a reason my beard looks so weird right now. It was braided all day, and then it came out when I got down here.
All right, new beer in my hand, blast shield down. Just put my little whiffer in there. Ooh, that smells good.
Honestly, it's still kind of smelling apricot but not
Yeah, I get that fleshy, peachy apricot skin
peachy.
kind of
That's
thing.
what it is. Peach, I'm smelling.
Super peachy. Stone fruit for sure.
This is a peachy keen beer. My God.
Ooh,
It's sweeter.
it's sweeter and there's not much of a finish to it.
Yeah.
Kind of drops off at the end, right?
Yeah, super fleeting flavor or at least for that bitterness. It also doesn't have as much bitterness as the last one.
All three of these have been really, really low bitterness. I mean, the last one was the most bitter. I think we all agreed.
Yeah.
The first one had a little bit of a dirty bitterness to me, but it was not super bitter. And this is someone's interpretation of a haze or an East Coast because there is almost no back end bitterness to me on this whatsoever.
Probably didn't help that we absolutely destroyed our palates with that Melbourne Brewing beer.
At the end of this day,
Yeah,
we will have
why
each
did I
drank
bring
7
IPAs?
IPAs.
Why did I bring IPAs to taste IPAs?
We should just
What's up, Marty?
I know. I should have just grabbed like a.
Should have brought
Yeah,
lagers.
that's what I was thinking.
using Miller Lite as a fucking palate cleaner on tasting.
Bud-
oh yeah, let's just
Bud
wash
Light.
it
Just
out.
get a
Platinum.
shitload of acid aldehyde into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have given you guys Bud Light Platinum for palate cleansers.
There's a lot of lemon on this too, and from the flavor to the nose, a lot of just like straight oily lemon peel, sweet lemon,
Yeah.
Meyer lemon.
Yeah, still that citrusy, but a little sweeter citrus. A little tartar, yeah.
There's some tea-like notes to it too. It's a little savory in the middle, honestly, and that's not a detractor, but it's a little. There's like
Not like an umami, but it's,
no, but like
yeah.
herbs or like bay leaf or something grassy and green, but
Something
not
earthy.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
There's some. There's
Earthy,
a
herbal.
For me, it's like you smell peach. This is for me.
Yeah.
It hits you with lemon on the tongue. It finishes and then dies very quickly with like an herbal note. It's kind of a cool layout. I mean, whoever's hopped this thing, it's not muddled. It's just a really soft composition, though.
Yeah, nice and layered. Yeah, I mean, it tastes more acidic once you mentioned
It
all
does.
that, yeah.
It does have an acidity bite to it too.
Like I leave it on my tongue, the tip of my tongue is getting little bites kind of thing to it.
This is. This has also a different malt profile than the last two beers we tasted. This, I would bet, has almost all, or if not all, base malt of some sort. This is really clean.
I don't know. I feel like if anything, this probably has more of that Munich, Vienna.
Shit,
More
really?
of that bread because it is.
God, we are going to make
it's a little
fools of
sweet.
one or the other of us.
God,
Well,
I
'cause
can't.
it
cannot
does
wait to
have
tell
that-
you the order of these beers when we're done here. I cannot wait for this.
This, I don't know. I certainly don't taste a drop of Munich. You could sway me on Vienna, but I don't know. This feels like straw yellow, and I can't see the beer obviously, but this feels like it's a straw yellow beer.
Details?
ABV is still
5.6.
Whoa, what?
So it's a
ABV
pale
is
ale.
5.6.
This is 5.6 ABV. Okay. Well, then it's not an IPA.
I'm
Unless we're
almost
calling it
thinking
a session
I
IPA.
may have thrown in a pail in the middle
Hey,
there.
That's fair. I
to-
like that.
To see where you guys were at and also give you a little bit of a break from getting crushed with hops.
What's the IBU on it though?
I believe the IBU on this is about 55.
Dude, I'm almost thinking this is our guts and grit just based
I was
on
going to
that
say,
number.
if it's a pale ale and it's
Yeah.
those numbers, but I mean, 55, this feels like 30.
This is not our pale ale though. Our pale ale has a ton of just like orange juice flavor though.
Yeah.
Let me
It has
let me double check that number.
I at first thought maybe we were going back to back with our breweries, given that I'd guessed mine on the one previous, because this does have a cleanliness to you, that your beers distribute. I don't mean like cleanliness like devoid of fault, but I mean there's I think with a lot of what you guys do great, and I'll just compliment you blind here with your hoppy beers. Is there's a great
when I can't see you.
when,
you'll
yeah, no,
compliment
we're
me.
not looking eye to eye when we do this. It's like when we make love, Marty. There's such
lights
a.
out.
I just gotta say,
Go ahead, Josh.
it's so funny the way that the cameras are laid out with Zoom, because like with the 4 screens, CJ, when you're looking at Marty, you're actually looking entirely off the screen and vice versa. So
I'm
to
yelling
me,
at
it looks
you
like you
and
guys
stuff.
are
I'm
just
yelling
looking
that
away
way.
from each other the whole time.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start pointing to my right.
I mean, I don't actually
Fuck you,
know. I mean, I
CJ,
know
yeah.
the general direction of where he is, right? But I don't know.
yeah.
But I've always thought Sacred Waters does something great with their hops, and that they have a lot of intention on where they place them, and you guys are able to create very clean, layered flavors. I think that's something you guys do very, very well. And so this beer feels way softer than 55 IBUs to me. I could definitely believe the pale ale.
Nope, I was wrong.
Okay,
I was wrong. Now
Game
that
changer.
I'm looking up the information on the internets,
I've seen your guys' website. It doesn't have any of that shit. So no.
I'll give.
No, it does, dude. I looked at it like 2
dude, does
weeks
it?
ago.
You guys-
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, both of your websites have this.
Yeah.
So I could be looking at anything right now. But
this is not my beer. I can tell you that right now.
5.6%,
Yeah, it's not
which
bad.
I was correct about. 38 IBUs.
Ooh, where does
38.
Guts and Grit sit?
This is probably Guts and Grit. I think it's around 50. Yeah, it's around 50. But either way, 38. That is super low. That's why it almost make because I know
Who's got a pale ale?
Sam Adams has an awesome hazy pale ale. It's actually so good. I was drinking that for like a month straight, but then I got sick of it. of
Wait,
course.
what about Sierra Nevada's little hazy thing? Isn't that no? That's more of an
Hazel
IPA.
thing? No,
That's
yeah,
an
yeah,
IPA.
That
That's an
thing's
IPA.
like
Shit.
yeah, that thing's like 6.3%.
Okay.
Like
okay.
that.
So yeah. God, this is so light. Who's making a beer this fucking light?
That's maybe it's a session. Because those session IPAs go down to 4. which
Right.
is
Can we
dumb as
ask,
shit.
is it labeled a pale ale or a session IPA, or is that asking too much?
Wait, did you mean session is in the style or session is in the brewery?
I was going to
the
refer
style,
to
the
session in the
style.
style unless you just gave something away. Is this a session?
Yeah.
Is this from session?
This is from
Full
session,
Sail?
yeah.
No, I was just clarifying the question.
Thank you, Josh,
And
for the
right, session is actually
clarification.
from Full Sail, right? Just to be like, that's their shoot-off brand, right? Their Stubby brand.
I think
I'm pretty
so.
sure it's Full
I
Sail's
think
like
you're correct on that.
Stubby brand.
Yeah.
No, this is definitely not that. No. But session IPA.
I've already told you this is a pale,
Okay.
Okay, so
and
it's just
that's
pale.
all I'm giving you.
Fuck. It's not Mirror Pond. It's not that. It's not Sierra Nevada Pale. There's not enough malt build to it.
Well, and it's not as bitter either.
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
one's got a
This
clean,
is so soft,
sharp
dude.
bitterness. God
They're
damn it, dude.
laughing though, so I mean, like, what the fuck?
This is the hardest thing in the
it is
world.
definitely not Sierra Nevada Pale.
I'm laughing at the fact of like the way that you guys are trying to go
Trying
about
to figure out what it is?
describe this stuff. I'm not laughing at your
We're
suggestions.
going on previous research is what we're doing anymore. We're not even thinking about the flavor at
Yep.
this point.
Previous research, aka being alcoholics.
Pretty fucking much.
It's called quality
100%.
assurance. Yeah.
Well, visors up because
Okay.
you're both done.
I have no
You're both
I
done.
have no idea
So.
what this is.
Yeah, I couldn't even guess. Honestly, I don't buy that many pale ales.
You know what? I'm gonna put down a guess, just knowing a little bit of what we can get in the valley. I'm gonna say it's Lagunitas.
You're gonna go with Lagunitas.
Yep.
Okay.
I did. Do they have a pale ale?
They have a pale ale, and they also have the dog times or whatever, which is a session hoppy beer.
Oh yeah.
So and they, to me, really lean into that kind of that lemony note that kind of comes through on a lot of their beers. So I'm gonna throw out Lagunitas just to have a fun time with it.
Okay.
That was a
Marty,
good guess.
what do you
Fuck.
think?
Well, now I got to brainstorm. This is hard.
I don't know, man. Maybe that Founders all day. I mean, but that
No. That's got some
No,
copper color to
yeah,
it. This was not that.
I don't know. I can't even.
Yeah. What does my spit tell me? here?
I got a couple little
Yeah,
drops
that's not
in
all
there.
day, dude. I know what all day looks like in a glass. That's not all day. I think it actually looking at it, and I think I was kind of right on the straw color, very golden color, right? If I'm not, I mean, I'm just looking at backwash.
Yeah, exactly.
That feels like Lagunitas to me.
okay.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right. We will write that down
Yeah,
and
dude,
make a note of
I
it.
feel like at this point,
Yep,
I'm just
I
going to
got
be
that- I
agreeing
got
with you.
that one locked
From here on out. 'Cause I really have no idea.
Marty's agreeing with me, and I'm
never-
speaking first. So just to be clear, if we get them all right, I was more right than Marty. This is not a tie. This is not a fucking tie.
Oh my God! All right,
So wait,
are we going to go in for round 4? Are we just going to keep doing this?
Yeah,
back to
we're
back to
gonna
back?
keep hitting it,
Okay,
dude.
all right.
We're-
I will go get you round
yeah.
4.
I'm trying to pick out what Josh is writing down, but
I heard
I'm
a
just
chuckle.
writing
It
down
was the
your,
first
guesses,
chuckle I'd heard
so
through
we
this
make
whole
sure we
thing. And
don't
they're like,
forget it.
Lagunitas. I don't feel like it's
Because
Lagunitas,
Josh and I are
though,
having
but-
so much fun watching you two fools try and figure out what you're drinking. It's got nothing to do with
We
your-
are
Well, like I said,
professional
it's really
brewers.
funny
I
'cause
don't
to me, you're
appreciate
looking,
being
like,
called
directly
a fool.
away from each other the
You
whole
fool.
time.
I didn't go to 0 years of brewing school to be called a fool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit, dude! I even quit smoking just so I could go
I
through
don't.
school.
I
It
like
did not
to
work,
me.
obviously.
Like the only thing that was getting me was the straw color. Like I felt like it was a very light beer, and I know that Lagunitas has made some hoppy beers that are very pale. So that was kind of where I was going with it. It doesn't feel like the Lagunitas yeast, but it was just so clean. I was just kind of trying to think of all the packaging breweries we get out here that are really dialed in, and I think that for sure, you know. Firestone, Fremont,
Dude,
Lagunitas, and Melvin are they're dialed in on their processes.
and one thing that's like
And Deschutes,
surpassing me,
but-
like like thinking about Bozeman, Missoula breweries right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about them. So maybe that could be an option.
That's true. I actually I was immediately thinking out of state for this, but thinking about the other things we can get on the shelf and thinking about what it'd be. But who's making a pale ale right now? Because really in the Valley, it's just not a style that. I mean, you and I both are making pale ales.
But it's nothing like what.
But
we
packaging,
said that was
you know,
like 37 IBU.
Yeah.
Something like there was a lower IBU.
38.
38?
I think was
Yeah,
the
I
IBU
mean,
on that
that's-
one. Yeah.
That's low. Like I was very surprised by that because it did have like a little bit of sharp bitterness.
I thought that was the
Fades
acid
away.
once you mentioned it. I really thought that anything that kind of cleaned it up for me was the acid.
Because
the
I was
acidity
getting
of it.
like the bitterness, back of my mouth, getting like a
Okay.
good clean hot bitterness. faded away immediately.
Faded away, yeah.
You know, as soon as I swallowed
Yeah,
it.
see,
like,
for me, I didn't even get the hot. Like the finish on it is gone. It's just in and gone pretty
Yeah.
quick. It's. I mean, I liked it. I would crush a couple of those on the river.
yeah, great river beer. You know, especially being 5.6%.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that would be. But it was sweeter. It was sweeter than the last one. So it's
Maybe Pilsner malt then. I mean, Pilsner malt leaves a little like residual feel of sweetness, even if it's fully fermented out.
yeah. I don't know. Because
I will say it's a beer that this doesn't really narrow it down much at all, but it's a beer that I've had before, and I do agree it's a really good one for drinking on the
Okay,
river.
shit, that doesn't narrow it down at all. But it
Turns
makes my
out it was
brain-
White Claws.
Yeah, son
We
of a
got
bitch, mango White Claw.
No, it was actually that hoppy tea crap that they're making now, the hoppy tea seltzers.
Oh, those
It's like
things are
hoppy
those things
seltzer
are bad,
water.
dude. Those things are not good. I tried.
Or just like, the hop waters.
The hop waters.
So
My aunt loves
Not
those.
good. Don't. I'm looking right into the camera. Don't buy those. They're not good.
dude, so Fulton, where
had
Ryan
one.
graduated
Yeah,
with me
yeah.
from they're making hop water now. Yeah, I don't understand it. I've asked him, and he's like, I'm not telling you.
I
I'm
got
like,
a
I'm not
sixer
gonna
of a
make
brand
this.
just because I was like, okay, maybe hop seltzer. Maybe this might maybe someone has
Dude, I think-
gotten it down and has done it great. You know,
I feel like Bias has made a couple hop seltzers.
have they?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is
I don't know.
The other one to never buy, espresso seltzers, like the hard seltzers with
gross.
the espresso flavor.
No. I like drinking, but not that much.
So bad, so
Oh, we're
bad.
back to it. We're back going down. Beer 4,
Shit.
right? We're on 4?
Number 4.
Okay.
Beer number 4.
Beer 4.
I will place my right hand out. and
everything
the beer
just-
will be dropped in it. Oh, this one's weighty already. It's got a good weight to it.
There's just more in the glass this time.
Oh, copy.
so.
Oh,
I'm
that's-
guessing this one's a growler. If there's more in the
That's
glass.
stinky.
That's already boom.
Could be
That's a-
could be a 22-ounce can.
That's a good point, but don't get fooled. But that's stinky.
Could be
Yeah,
a
that's
22-ounce
what I was
can.
getting.
Could be a 24-ounce bottle.
I'm getting that oniony.
I'm
smell.
getting some Citra. I'm getting some BO right off the bat on it. I mean, like, and again, this is just something that happens with certain hops. It's not a brewing process flaw, but I'm getting some. Is it Marty? Correct me, Isovaleric? Just some nice like gym bag,
I think
fucking
so.
stinky
yeah,
hop.
Yeah. Sweaty sock kind of smell to
But
it.
I mean, the flavor's really pronounced too. Yeah, definitely. It's like a mixture of like overripe pineapple and sweaty gym socks.
I don't know. I get onion.
You getting that chivy flavor to it
I'm
too?
getting
Yeah.
like old hops, just like older, staler hops.
Flavor's really
But
nice.
it tastes
though.
great. Yeah,
Flavor's
that
super
aroma's not
nice.
in the flavor.
No, and there's good parts about the aroma. It's just it's not quite cheesy, but there is a very distinct zippy green onion, a little bit of sweaty foot, and then overripe fruit, kind of mushy fruit on the nose, which usually indicates again, yeah, either there's some specific hop varietals that'll do it, and there's also just older hops or hops that have seen too much O2 can do that sometimes too. But the
Yeah.
flavor's really clean.
Honestly, I'm almost thinking this is the Bob.
I'm on the page.
'Cause, like,
that this
once you
this
mentioned
feels like
Citra-
your beer. Yeah, this
Once
feels
you
like your
mentioned
beer, dude.
Citra, but I mean that, and it doesn't have the carbonation.
Well, if it came here in your beer, then
It doesn't feel as carbonated as
Okay.
it should be, and I know like just from how we've been working with our
Right.
taps lately, like there's been a lot of.
and I felt like the
breakout.
first beer was too, and that's what's kind of make me think of Growler too, but it didn't feel like yours or mine. But who knows? This is
Well, and the acidity's not there. I think our last Bob batch ended up being about 4.8 something for the pH,
yeah.
and that was just from every time we dry hop it.
So-
It goes
yeah.
up by 1, goes
Spike
up
it
by
up.
2. Yeah, those oils really cut down on the pH. It doesn't feel as acidic.
How many
as all
times
the
do you
other
dry
ones.
hop in the Bob now?
Just 2.
2 times?
Yeah, just
double
2
dry
times.
hop in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
always doing I believe Citra and Amarillo right now.
This is
Overall.
Citra, almost 100%. There's not
Yeah.
too many hops I can like really sit on, and hey, I might be shooting myself right in the foot, but this feels like stinky Citra right here. And I think what really brought it to fame back in the day, it's still a very good hop. I love it, but it's that pungency that shoots out right off the bat. And
Here are the numbers for this beer.
okay,
6.5, 64 BU.
that's Bob.
That's Bob. I'm
That's
feeling Bob.
absolutely the Bob.
Yeah, I'm feeling Bob. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I'll give it 99%, so I have a little room for error.
If we're jumping on it though, I still want to keep I want to talk like it's it's such a pleasant beer. The nose is bold and it's a little intimidating with that onion, but at the same time,
Yeah. Flavor wise,
I really like. I can like a little bit of that in my aroma, but once it hits your tongue and starts getting into those soft citrus notes, and there's a really, really great overripe pineapple note that kind of runs through the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's super tasty, and here's another thing. It's dry. We're back to a drier
It is
IPA.
dry, but it's not as acidic, so it kind of.
Yeah, there's a little bit of.
And like I said, I feel like it is decarbonated, but that was probably through a filling. Assuming it is the Bob the Growler, just that breakout of CO2.
There's just enough life though to like kick it to like. It's a happy drinking beer right now. It's just super tasty.
Yeah.
And again, here's 65 IBUs. It doesn't feel like that. I could have, if I were to try and guess IBUs, I could have guessed 45 to 50. Super smooth.
But then,
The IBU scale is so
and
fucking
that's what we were
broken.
talking about before we got
It's
into
almost
it.
as broken as the American economy.
Careful.
Yeah. Save that for Plato 3, bro.
Yeah.
Save that for
You're the
Plato
one
3.
making money on Dogecoin, so you better not.
Yeah,
be saying that out
you're
loud.
playing the game, Josh.
No.
What are you talking about, you fucking hypocrite?
Says the two assholes on this podcast
never-
that are getting paid millions of dollars, and I haven't seen a fucking dime because
Okay.
CJ was put in charge of fucking finances.
I know, and that brings me to my next point. The Tap House would like me to mention them on our podcast. Montana Tap House, 50 taps of beer, mostly Montana. Go
Turn
there if you want to have a good
to
time.
your left.
Oh, what's up, Ed?
To your left. There you go.
Yeah.
There it
is.
is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hi, Ed.
Montana
Miss you.
What's up, Ed?
Shout out to Mr.
Shout out.
Doctor.
And Ed, you can
The
cut
doctor.
that check to CJ Mueller Incorporated,
Mr. Doctor.
LLC.
No. It's Final Gravity LLC. You fucking punk.
No, you can just write it to Project Enjoy every day.
Yo, you Oregon fucking based motherfucker.
Hey, I'm the only one who worked for him.
I'm more sure of this beer being yours than I was of what I think mine was to
Yeah.
mine. This feels like you guys through and through here.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I feel like if it was like a can, the can's going to keep the carbonation a little more. Granted, all of our cans at this point are pretty old.
Good.
I'm feeling
good
You
fine.
flavor.
really want to tell people that live on the air?
I do, because we're canning again, and we're getting rid of those cans.
Good.
Here
Okay,
in-
good.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, yeah, Shane. We're
Come
about to
buy
have-
all our old cans so
Are
we
you
can get you
gonna-
some
yeah,
fresh cans.
Fresh cans, February 26th.
Even if they're old,
at
if you
Sacred
distribute
Waters.
the old ones to Oregon, I wouldn't complain.
No one's gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, I'm bringing about 10 cases home for myself. I get thirsty when I'm alone.
10 cases.
Oh, there
10
you go.
cases of 12 or 24?
On the Bob, do you guys
24.
use the proximity pills or do you guys use the proximity pale malt, the base malt?
Yeah, we use base.
Okay.
Yeah, we use the pills mostly for the.
Wait, are you allowed
guts
to
and
give
grain.
out these secrets? Are you allowed to tell people?
I'm not going to
That's a
clone
good
his
point.
brewery.
Yeah, right. Either
I
way.
clone good breweries. That's
Seth,
what I do.
Seth likes to protect his recipes. So this is actually a
Shots
really good
fired,
point.
kids. Shots fired.
Seth, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Seth, if you're
They
listening, I'm
got me
also
drunk.
sorry.
This isn't my fault.
Seth, if you're listening, oh well.
Oopsie doopsies.
Guy with the gun to his head.
Seth,
Stay out of frame.
hi
Stay out
from
of frame.
Oregon. Just so we all say something to Seth.
Ugh, this is good though. There's like a lemon sherbet flavor here. I'm digging.
Lemon sherbet.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think I've eaten lemon sherbet since I was a child. So.
Well, you're drinking it now. I'm firmly set. I'm firmly set on this. Is Bob
I think this is the Bob.
Are you guys locking in your
Yeah,
guesses?
Bob.
All right,
It's
what
Bob.
what
I
what are
think
your
this is
guesses?
Bob.
Bob on both?
Yep.
Sacred Waters Bob on both. Okay.
It feels like it.
Okay.
It really feels like it.
All right.
See, if we're
If
right
that's
on
what
this
you want to
one,
go
I
with,
get the
if
credit.
that's what you want to go with, go right ahead.
That's what
These
that's
are
what
your
I'm going with.
guesses.
You're just playing mind games now. I don't understand anything.
Are
I'm
we
scared.
visors up at this point?
Yep, you can be visors up.
Because we submitted the guess.
Yep.
I feel like that's Bob.
That's Bob.
That's classic Bob.
We
Could
know
be anything.
We know Bobby Marshall.
We use that biofine, and it takes about. It's supposed to take about 3 to 5 days, right?
Really?
For biofine to work.
okay.
I've noticed for the Bob, it literally takes like a month for it to work.
Holy shit.
That's weird.
Yeah, and
Are you guys flushing CO2 while you biofine?
No,
Are you like?
so we're biofining as we're.
Oh, you're
filling.
inlining it. You're inlining it.
Inlining
Okay.
it, and what I've noticed, at least for Bob and Lager, I guess we use it for the amber too, but that's 3 beers we're using it for. It takes a long time. It's nice for the lager
Okay.
because we
That's-
want it to lager. For
I don't
Well,
know
yeah, when
what
you-
this contributes, but when I worked with Culmination Brewing in Portland, Oregon, we would biofine most all of our beers, and we would top it through the 3-inch port on the top of the tank while flushing CO2. I don't know why that would make a difference, but maybe just you guys have a good transfer process, pretty slow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not mixing.
See, and what we do,
Because we were about 48
guess is
hours before we'd start kegging beers, including lagers with the biofilm.
see, and this wasn't even for kegging. This is like through transfer, and we have our 10-barrel bright tanks for the first 5 barrels. That's when we're transferring our biofine. So the idea is hopefully, all the other beer that's getting in there, it's pumping it up to the top. It's just falling straight through the middle. It should be mixing pretty well.
It should be, yeah. But it's always interesting the things you can't see happening in the tank.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah, it's all stainless steel. It's a guessing game at this
There's no
point.
window.
No.
There's no window in there.
So before we get to our 5th and final beer on this podcast, on this episode of the podcast, I want to take time to shout out our buddy Fred, Blind Brew Guy.
Thanks, Fred.
This was actually marginally his idea for us to get on local because I asked him, I was like, is there anything that you want us to talk about? He's like, I'd love to hear you guys talk about some local beers. So CJ and I on that then decided that it would be great for you to come in, you guys to taste and do all these things. So Fred, this episode is 60% for you, buddy.
Thank you, Fred, for supporting us.
And we can't wait to have you on Plato 2 next week and just talk shop with you about like what you do as home brewer and, do you have setups in Arizona versus Michigan? Do you just travel with everything? Like, I'm really intrigued to ask you some questions next week. And again, thank you for being our sole patron. If anyone out there wants to, we do have a Patreon account that you can sign up for and send us a little bit of money and keep this podcast going, and we can get more cool-ass people like Marty from Sacred Waters. We always have
What
CJ
was your
on.
fee for coming on today?
I don't know.
think
You
I
do
was
the
paid
finances, so
I
you tell
just
me
might
what
want
his
to
fee was.
renegotiate my contract.
I think I said I was paid $400.
$400.
so,
All right. Well, I think we have that in the
somewhere
company
around
treasury. Josh, you and I have been doing a lot of advertising.
That one's coming out of that's coming out of Thomas's share,
I
right?
haven't made $4 on this fucking podcast.
Well, Fred's only been on for a month.
But with Fred's contribution, I think at the end of each season or at the end of each year, we'll take that money and CJ, Josh, and I will get something together for the three of us to just enjoy for doing this.
Like a good something beer.
Something better than the whack-ass beers we've been drinking today.
I mean, you know you're fit.
All I know is
As
number
of
2
right
beer.
now-
That's my favorite by far right now.
Really?
As of right
And
now,
I think
CJ,
we decided it was
I
yours.
hope it's mine. I really do.
I kind of do too.
as of right now, with that comment, we are 50% through, or we are
75,
80%
80%.
Yeah, we're 80,
through,
yeah.
but 50% of what you just said is true.
Oh, shit.
Because you're talking about your own beer and other people's.
So that would mean that there is another beer, and that would mean that other beer is one of ours.
I
It
don't know.
may very well be. It may not be.
See,
I
but
can't
we've
let you
already
guys
cast
know.
our beers. This is going to make it so much harder.
This makes it harder. This makes it a pain in the ass.
Now we're fucking with you.
All right,
yeah,
That's
exactly.
the whole
dude.
idea
This
for
is
this
a
episode.
mind game.
That's the whole idea.
And
for
it's
this
the last
episode.
one we've drank 4 IPAs. My palate is shot.
All
I'm
I
not-
understand is we're never joining the BJCP.
Yeah, that note, it's
If
time
anyone
to
in
pour
the
him a fifth
BJCP
one.
hears this, they'd be like, "You
it's
guys
time
were
to
on
pour
that
that
final gravity
You and me
podcast,
are those
right?"
brewers
No.
who are like, I got past table 1. Fucking yeah, dude, I'm fucking doing everything right.
Call
bro.
it
I'm
good,
doing
yeah.
everything right.
That's why I said
man.
if I ever submitted a beer to GABF, I would be happy as long as I tabled. I don't give a shit about winning medals, but if I tabled,
If you
at least
make-
I know I'm doing something right.
If you make it past the first table, you've made good beer. That is the whole job of that first table. Just discount the bad ones. They're really not even tasting at that point in time for flavor. They're not even asked to write that. They're like, does it have flaws? They're given like,
They're like, is this reasonable
Right.
beer?
and that is really going back to that earlier how they keep it moving is just like, hey, you guys are not essentially it's like you guys are level 1s. You're not tasting for the nuance.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
looking
you're-
for the big flaws.
Yeah.
Are there big flaws
And
in this beer?
Number 1, always diacetyl.
Yep. Diacetyl.
If you get that, then
Any other
there was one
byproducts of
beer
yeast.
I almost thought I got diacetyl because I got, I can't taste it very well or smell it, but I got kind of a slickness on my tongue. But then after a bit, drinking it a couple more times, I was like, no, that's probably like that crystal malt. It's just that little extra sugar.
I know, and
coat
that's
my
kind of
tongue,
why
yeah.
I've gone away from those malts is because they perceive so much oxidation and diacetyl.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you taste them, right? Like the flavors that a lot of people, I think, before we were really, really sitting down and getting technical about beer, that a lot of people like, are actually what we now consider flaws. Like a little bit of rich, sweet slickness. Sure, that sounds great.
No.
And that's like, well, that's butter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
hey,
that's,
stay
that's
away from
movie
that.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, thinking about it, like you can buy those kits, the little dosing kits. So like one thing we were doing at FVCC for the brewing program, Joe would have a couple dosing kits, so you could throw in, DMS, diacetyl, like we just use something plain like PBR or something. Throw a couple
Right,
drops in
something
there,
super
and
simple.
dose it, and it's like, all right, what flavor is this? And it was a good way to build like a good baseline, like what a flavor was.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's
yeah,
pretty smart.
You get
actually, that's a really cool idea.
and the big one was like trans 2 non-enol.
Non-enol,
Yeah. That big cardboardy flavor.
Cardboard,
tastes like
oxidized.
an old ass library.
Yep, gross.
That one was a big one, but you could
Fifth and final beer. Visors are down.
visors.
Oh, visors down for the last
And
beer.
for those of us that are listening to it and what Marty just said, those tasting kits, while a little pricey, if you're thinking about trying to take your homebrew craft to the next level, those tasting kits are without a doubt the best way to start really looking at flavors. And because I've done those tastings. Oh, thank you. Oh, let me get
Yeah.
my hand unscrewed. Thank you, sir.
Or even if you just want to get into judging, I think
Right,
it's a great
right.
resource.
You
for
need
it.
to have
Yeah.
you need to be able to distinguish those flavors, and that's the best way to do it. Is take a clean, neutral beer, and then start messing it up. Essentially,
yeah.
This thing is fruity as hell.
super
That is
fruity.
one thing that I have wanted to do is take a homebrew that I have made that I know is pretty good based on feedback that I have, and just taking that and adding like the weird off flavors to it, whether DMS or this or that or whatever, and just really refining my palate. And Marty, you had said that you quit smoking.
Yeah. I use specifically for those classes too.
I recently, I got COVID back in January, so we took some time off, and now I'm still feeling a lot of the residual after effects of it, and I haven't had a cigarette in almost 36 hours.
That's quitting.
And that's,
yeah, I'm proud of you,
That's
yeah.
a start, man. Like I haven't.
No, that's
I
huge.
haven't had like a craving for it or like a want for it. Yeah, I can feel a little bit of like the edginess and jitteriness and like kind of like fuck you
Yeah.
type of shit that comes with pulling a chemical out of your body after
And just going through straight withdrawals. For
yeah,
it.
exactly. But CJ and I have had this conversation many times about if I'm going to be a good brewer and a good beer drinker, I need to stop smoking and allow my palate to rebuild itself so I can taste these things so much more efficiently, so that when I make beer at home, and hopefully eventually when I get to like the mass scale of producing beer like you guys do, I will have a much more refined palate than I have now and be able to pick out those flavors a lot, those off flavors especially, a lot quicker and better to make my beer better.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. That's exactly the only reason I actually ended up quitting smoking, because I was tired of everyone else in our class saying like, "Oh, I taste this and this." I'm like,
Right, and you don't get
"This,
it.
this all tastes like PBR." You know, it wasn't special.
Let's talk about this brew. That's
What do
in
you
front of
got?
us
What do you guys feel on the nose?
Yeah, but what are you guys picking up there?
What you got going on?
I just get a fucking.
Tell me what you're drinking, guys. What is that
here.
one?
Fruit. Strawberry is the biggest thing that jumps out to me. We're back on the red fruit train right off the bat. Big time strawberry. Big time passion fruit or
Yeah,
mango
all the
or
tropicals.
something really
All the
tropical. Something
tropicals,
super
yeah.
tropicals in here.
Yeah, I don't get any citrus, at least in the smell.
Just to help you narrow it down, this is also one that I've drank before, and I agree with what you're saying.
That does help narrow it down because we both know that recently you haven't drank any rotators of ours. So you have.
No, I mean, I've drank rotators of yours
Right,
before.
that's
I don't
fair,
know.
that's
Maybe
fair.
you did a repeat. So
I don't think this is either one of ours.
No, I mean, I don't get hardly any bitterness out of it. It's just that.
And I don't get any clone out
It's
of
a-
mine, so I know.
No, I get.
That was
Drink-
if
it's-
you're just tuning into the podcast, you would have to listen to the whole thing to
Yeah.
understand that joke.
For
I get mad tropical fruit.
I almost
though.
get like no bitterness. Granted, we've had a lot of IPAs at this point, so my palate is kind of.
I get that bitterness again.
that-
That's kind of more balanced by malt or alcohol. That's just like it's there, but there's enough coming up to meet it. If that makes sense, that it feels very creamy and smooth.
super creamy.
Yeah.
It makes
So
me.
if you guys had to guess on ABV and IBU, then
Shit.
Dude, that's the scary thing about these soft beers like this. Like, I can't guess the ABV.
Well, and again,
It's-
to be, I'll
it
just
could be something like that 7.3, but it's so soft and
yeah.
creamy that it could be.
oh, we'll just give her a shot. You know, just
Shot in
give
the
her a
dark.
rip.
Give her a
Let's see
rip.
how you
Let's
do.
see what you
shot in
do.
the dark. This is over 7.
7-2.
Oh, see, I was going to guess 6.5 again.
This is over 7. This is over 7. The alcohol is coming up to meet the hops on the bitterness. The bitterness, I bet you the brewery's labeling the bitterness higher than this, but to me, what I believe IBU should represent, which is perceived bitterness, I'm putting it in the 50 to 55 category.
Really? See, I was going to give it in like the 40s.
Yeah,
It-
and I
it
guess
feels-
I'm even kind of overshooting. Like it's so smooth that I would not put this above 60, right? Marty,
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. Like I think I'm looking at you.
Yeah. I'm
it's
pointing at the
not-
window
to-
again.
Yeah, you're looking towards it.
Yeah, you're looking in his general direction.
Josh doesn't know.
Yeah,
You're,
you're
pointing
looking
the
off
opposite
the screen
way.
to me, so I think that means you're
We've
looking
on
at
this
him.
show jumped a lot into IBU and how it really, as brewers, we use it as marks to really talk about perceived bitterness rather than an actual mathematical formulated equation. And so
We've had that conversation on this podcast in the past, or maybe not this
perceived
one,
bitterness to me is like 50 to 55. But this is I was right. You said 7.2. This is over 7.
but 7-2.
Okay.
Thomas, you have the numbers on this one for the
I
IBU.
am trying to find that now. As
This is really orangey too as you keep drinking it.
Yeah, it does get more citrus.
It gets kind of orange juicy though, less peely and more just juicy orange, or tangerine or something in that kind of family.
I think passion fruit to me. That
I get a
biggest-
shitload of like guava or passion fruit
Yeah.
off of it. But that's to me, it's more in the nose and it's kind of more in the feeling on the taste, where it's just kind of like an involvement with that orange juice. It's a lot of pog juice, is what it is. Like passion fruit, orange
Yeah.
guava. It's a lot of fucking pog juice on this thing.
Man.
I guarantee you, it's hazy and kind of that orangey or coppery
It's
color.
definitely in the hazy category.
It's-
Is what I'm like,
it's-
because I'm not hardly perceiving any like long-term
Long-term
bitterness. something
bitterness
that-
is
it doesn't have that
non-existent.
big bite. Doesn't have any kind of like bitterness, astringency.
Whoever brewed this beer shoved a lot of hops in the whirlpool. A lot of fucking hops in the whirlpool. Because the flavor is pretty intense right
Or
off the
just
bat.
at least dry hop the shit out of it. Because it's not as acidic, just like the last one was.
65.
Whoa! Hey, well, we ain't there. God, it's juicy for 65
Yeah.
BUs. God damn.
See, that's why I think they're factoring dry hop into the IBUs.
Which you shouldn't do. Which is that's again why the IBU scale is fucked up.
Yeah, me personally,
Yeah,
I
because
feel
as
like
soon
it
as you
lowers
start
the
dry hopping
IBUs.
things, like you're going to get more bitterness, but it's not factored into your equation when you make your brew. So
Well, and it's a different kind of bitterness, right? These plant materials weren't boiled. I mean, to me, the IBU scale
And it depends if you
represents
biotransform or
isomerization of
just-
alpha acids. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah, none of these alpha. So depending on what hops you're dropping in, because
It shouldn't
I think
contribute bitterness other than
it's
planty
raised the
bitterness.
pH of the beer for sure.
Jesus, sorry for the spike.
It's raised the pH of the beer, so it's not as acidic. And I think that also is a big thing for IBUs because, like, with that extra acidity, it adds that little extra bite to it, to that bitterness. And I'm not getting any bitterness out of this.
I'm not getting
I
visors
get,
up.
I get a
Okay.
Y'all are
shitload.
both about done, so visors up.
All right.
And that was our fifth and final beer.
So we know it's a hazy at this point.
It's. Oh wow! I actually thought the color was going to be a lot darker on that. I was getting like the malt character was really nice. If not, I mean, it wasn't fruity, but it was.
I got
really
nothing
full.
but hazy flavor. It probably is finishing probably around like 3 degrees Plato, is what I'm guessing. It is a little sweeter,
Shit.
but that could just be all that fruit flavor.
So if you
from
had
the
to guess a
hops.
brewery,
So, yeah, real
Yeah.
quick flaws, and then follow up with style. Well, obviously, you guys call it you can see that it's hazy now.
Yeah.
But a brewery guess.
Okay. there were no flaws that jumped out to me whatsoever. Not even oxidation or age, which age is a flaw you really can't control. But
Yeah. I mean, it was a little too sweet for my liking, but is that a
Okay.
flaw? No. But that's just more of a personal preference. I mean, overall, for like a hazy category, I think it'd do all right.
it was the sweetness was again we drank 2 dry beers before this, so the sweetness was just slightly elevated.
Well, no
but
matter what, our palate is absolutely fucked
wrecked.
at this point.
Fremont Brewing Company is what I'm going with for this.
Fremont. Okay.
I'm almost thinking Odell's.
Odell's
Okay.
on that one.
Odell's there, or not
It's-
Odell's.
this has got to be something of good packaging because
Cigar
they
City?
fucking know.
Not Cigar City.
Don't you dare give him that hint.
What is
Maybe
it?
I'm fucking with you. Maybe I'm not.
Spearfish.
Spearfish.
Oh, I haven't seen their beers out here.
Yeah, that we just got it because
We
they
just
were
started
bought
getting
by Sam Adams. Yeah.
Oh,
So we
shit.
just
Oh,
started
okay.
getting all the
I didn't
beers.
know that.
They have their Hazy O out here now.
And so we're
Is that are those your final answers?
I'm gonna lean on Fremont. I think that
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Spearfish head.
Spearfish head.
Am I
Okay.
able to go to?
Well, then I've got all the answers right here.
And this is the favorite part of the show for me and Josh, where we get to tell you what you guys just drank for the last
All right.
45 minutes.
I want a quick break to pee.
Yeah,
So-
All right, you go first, and I'll go first. The brewers
I
have to pee.
piss big time. I've been holding this in for 3 years.
About
all right.
beer 3, I was like, let's keep going, but shit, how long can I go?
Well, while he's in the bathroom, CJ, just to really fuck with you, now that I've got all your answers locked in, I can tell you I did drink a beer with you guys today.
What'd you drink with us?
Well, he's not going to tell you that.
Well, I mean,
The only beer I've been drinking
did
all
we
day.
drink a fresh squeeze today? Fuck!
A Deschutes beer.
God damn it! Shit.
Don't go into the kitchen.
question
Get
is
out of the
which one?
kitchen. Get out of the kitchen. You're not allowed in the kitchen. That's where all of the fucking shit is. You can't see that until it's done. Go piss in an empty growler. Or we are literally in the fucking mountains of Montana. You can go pee off your back deck. Because when he's done, I'm gonna go pee. This is amazing content, Josh. By the way, I don't.
Oh my god, this
This
is
has
just
been the best.
absolute. This is probably my favorite episode.
Marty
ever
might be able to hear me right now, but CJ can't. And the fact that they're not here right now, like this has been like the funnest Final Gravity episode that we've had so far. I mean, we've had some fun episodes, but this shit is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. We got to do more.
We got to do more of this for sure. Marty, hurry up!
Absolutely.
I'll pee in the goddamn kitchen sink.
While you're waiting for him, I've got to run down the hallway. I'm actually at my mom's office
Yeah,
right
I was gonna
now
say it looks a little
for this
different. So we're all
episode.
gonna go pee. We're gonna take a quick pee break, and we will be right back.
Yep.
Playing with himself in there.
Marty's probably taking a shit or something. I was gonna say.
It was just flowing out. I just feel everything just clenching.
Well, I know for a fact we got at least one wrong while you were peeing.
Because you peed?
No, because Josh told me that at least one of the beers that we were drinking, he was drinking as well, which means we drank a Deschutes fresh squeezed at some point in time.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's fair. I have not had a Deschutes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
There was a lot of breweries that were definitely that clean, but I figured since Josh was drinking it, we probably wouldn't. I kind of discounted Deschutes there. I kept looking for Deschutes, but I kind of discounted it.
Dude,
But Josh is hinting at us that we might have been drinking a Deschutes fresh squeezed.
See, and I didn't even think about.
It's the third beer.
Well, it doesn't help.
That's what it is.
It does not help that working in a brewery.
Right.
Like I get free beer all the time
Oh
working
yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
That's the 99% of the beer I drink.
Yeah.
At this point, so it's it's free. Who's gonna turn down free?
Who's
beer,
gonna turn down free beer?
Yeah.
I was even looking at when I had my blindfolds up, right? Like thinking the hard thing for me is that knowing that I was in the race and you were in the race, and this is not a flaw to the thing, but knowing that I was always looking for what I believed to be Sacred Waters character and I have a perception of what that is, and I have a perception of what my own beer's character was. So I was looking for those pretty readily, but I realized about halfway through even tasting the first beer that's going to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Because I know that we're in there.
Playing footsies with me, Marty?
Trying
Just
to.
a heads up, my camera's gonna turn off for a quick second. I gotta replace the
Okay.
battery. I'm
No
still
worries.
here though.
Right on.
Either way, at this point, I'm feeling like all those places that distribute, nationwide or at least regionally, the yeast strain that you're using is going to be, your Cal 1, Cal 2, San Diego Super, something that's
Oh, yeah.
something that's it's a consistent style and you can do for 18 generations. Dump it, finally
Right,
get
right.
another batch, because the main idea is to save money. So you're gonna try to get like those flavor neutral yeast will last more generations, as opposed to like us, we're using a London strain,
Right.
Something that is producing more esters, more phenols and stuff.
That may
Little
not have
better
as
lower-
long of a
lifespan
reuse,
for
yeah,
it,
a
yeah.
reuse lifespan, yeah.
Yeah, because I think the idea right now is, we're going for 12 generations, which is great and all, but that yeast itself does have a lot more flavor to it. But
Right.
it just
Now,
won't
for
last as
the
long.
beer nerds that are listening, when you're talking about generations, you're talking about repitching yeast from a current batch onto a new batch that's coming in that day.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is over the generations of these life, like something that produces more phenols and esters, they tend not to do that as much because you've worked that yeast strain.
Potentially, yeah, you're stressing it out no
Yeah,
matter
you're stressing
what
it
you're
out.
doing.
So it
yeah.
may not produce like 12 generations down. It may not produce those same amount of phenolic and ester profiles that you're looking for. So
Or depending on the yeast, it might produce more.
it could
Funny
very
enough.
well. Because you talk about going no more than 10, 8 at your spot, CJ?
I've worked at breweries that have gone as high as 10 to 12. At our spot at Backslope, we actually don't take it much beyond 6. We use at Backslope right now in terms of clean yeast. We use 3 different strains over the course of a year. We don't take our American Ale 2 beyond 6. It's not because you can't. Marty and I's breweries are set up slightly differently in that they have individual containers that they can hold yeast in, whether it be a brink or a keg or whatnot.
Yeah, that's always our brink.
We pitch FV to FV.
Okay, yep.
You're
We
doing
shoot
cone.
inline. We
You're
shoot
cone.
inline
I
FV to
remember
FV.
coming into Shadow with you that day, and we were literally
So-
pulling a yeast cake off of a brew that was
Because
about
that-
stalled out, and then pushing that into another tank that
Yeah.
was about to have fresh
Correct.
wort
So
dumped on top of it.
for that method, which I think we do very well, we just feel more comfortable that we've gotten our length and our worth out of the yeast at about 5 to 6.
Yeah, and honestly,
And that's different processes.
And we've done cone to cone too. The idea is, if you're brewing one beer and it ferments out properly, that has produced enough yeast for another batch.
For another batch
it
of
makes
beer.
sense. Maybe your pitch rates are obviously going to be different.
It's a
every
different way to
time.
calculate
Yeah.
pitch rate and things like that.
But I'm sure once you can get it consistent, like there
Right.
shouldn't be a problem. Me personally, I'm worried about it, but I've been in the classroom setting where we're
Right.
looking down a microscope the entire time. Like that's our big thing. We want to know viability of it.
Right.
We want to
Well,
know
you guys
what
have
cells are
lab tech
dead.
at Sacred Waters,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
They do.
Backslope is getting there.
Backslope is more of an art form than a science, like honestly, I go by the old school, and Joe taught me this, former brewer at Sacred Waters, and you're one of your instructors at the college.
Yeah, runs the program.
Is that we look at our yeast viability when I'm on Gen 2 to 3. I take a reading in like a Pyrex cup. I shoot a little bit of yeast in the Pyrex cup. I seal it up with cling wrap as fast as I can, and after 24 hours, I come and look at it. And that's how I judge viability. So if I took a 300 mil reading and when I come back the next day, it's at like 175 mils, I know I'm sitting at 65% ish viability there, 70% viability. It's a quick and dirty way of looking at it. I've worked at breweries with microscopes, but again, that's kind of why we cap ourselves at 6 is because we don't have lab tech. So we are trusting. It's a lot easier with the American ale strains and a lot harder with the Belgians and the
That makes more
Saisons.
sense that you guys each do like Sacred Waters will go 12 gens, but you've got a fucking chem lab that you can
Yeah.
count yeast cells.
Yeah.
Yep.
Backslope may not doesn't have that, so you're
Right.
like, you know what? We could probably go more, but 6 is a good safe
Right.
spot to just.
My counting is,
Count
it
'em.
looks like I put 5 gallons of yeast in there, and then my Pyrex cup goes down 20%. I'm like, I know I put 3 gallons of yeast in there. That's
Yep.
our counting right now.
Yep.
And to be fair, you can do that and make good beer. I think we do really well. It's great if you have the bells and whistles, but I mean, gosh, Belgian monks were making beer without lab tech for a long time. The understanding of lab tech has allowed us to really look at what these yeasts do at Gen
Yeah.
5 through 8 and Gen 8 through
the
12.
big thing that's come out with the lab tech is just consistency.
Consistency of
that's-
product.
That's overall. That's the big thing is
yeah.
consistency.
Hey,
out of
hey,
it.
boys, we are running very long on this episode.
Perfect.
We are like an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes in right now.
We should probably wrap this shit up.
So I'm gonna give you. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be my favorite part.
Let's read these beers off.
All right, are you ready?
I
So,
wish I wrote my own list.
Marty, just to mess with you a little bit, same way I just did CJ right as you were running to the bathroom, I will say something neither of you guessed was there was a beer that I drank with you guys today.
Deschutes fresh squeezed.
Yeah.
I really think that's number
Yeah,
3.
see, Just gave that up,
So,
and it
so you
was-
think
You think that's number three,
I do,
CJ?
because
which where do you think that was in line?
we guessed
Marty?
2 was mine. We guessed 4 was yours. I think that's number
Dude,
3.
this is why I wish I made my own list. It's
I know,
kinda
but
hard
we
to
were
figure it out at
blindfolded.
this
We
point,
can't
yeah.
make lists when we're blindfolded.
Yeah, but once you take it off, you're like, I wish I made a list. Like, oh
Are,
yeah,
are,
I
are,
guessed
are you
Deschutes.
guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
What's the first beer?
So I'm gonna go. I'm
So,
actually gonna work backwards.
Beer number
Oh
one.
no, go ahead, Josh. You take it. You take this.
We're going to work backwards.
I was gonna go from 5 to the,
Okay, yeah,
the
s-
last one they tasted to back to the beginning.
Okay.
I'm cool with doing that, yeah. So beer number 5, CJ, you guessed Fremont. Marty, you guessed Spearfish. That was the Can-O-Bliss Hazy IPA from Oskar Blues.
I forgot about them entirely.
The Can-O-Bliss, that's a series though. They changed that up at like every other month.
It was
That's
tasty
It
though.
was the Can-O-Bliss Citrus series.
Okay.
Okay.
The
It was
citrus one.
series.
Okay.
Which, CJ, we tasted that, come on, less than a month ago.
Less than a month ago, dude.
That is exactly why I went
That
and
was
grabbed
29
that beer.
days ago.
Because we just
man.
did an Oskar Blues like tasting and like run of episodes. So I was like, I'm gonna go get
we
an
just did, like,
Oscar
3
Blues
episodes
and
on
see
The mix
where
pick.
he's at. Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Dude, all I know, I remember number 2 was my favorite. That's all I remember.
Beer number 4, which CJ described as smells like gym socks, was Sacred
That's the
Waters.
We
Bob.
got that. Hell yeah.
That was the Bob.
Killing the game. Yeah.
guys
And we
were-
also
you
got the
absolutely
bar.
right. You
Yeah.
guys were
was the Bob.
absolutely right about that.
We
beer.
knew that was the
Yeah,
Bob.
it helps that we drink that all the time. Yeah. Goddamn, Seth's not going to
So beer number 3, which CJ guessed was Le Junetois, which Marty did not disagree with, was the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, which CJ, you were so close to
Oh,
getting.
man.
You guessed Sierra Nevada Hazy, and then you just moved away from that back to
It felt
Lagunitas.
like Chico. It felt like Chico, and I moved
Dude,
away
while
from
you
it.
guys were drinking, I was pantomiming to Josh. I'm like, oh, he's so close.
Fucking-
He's inching his way.
close.
Oh, no,
so
we back.
close on that. You said the name Sierra Nevada, and then you moved away.
I didn't think you'd. I mean, wow! I didn't think you'd bring Sierra Nevada Pale on as the one pale to fuck us
No,
up.
yeah,
so
I never would have thought that either.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's like my favorite fucking beer, man. So I knew
Hey,
I had
it
to
is a
throw
good
that in
beer,
because
yeah,
I knew
that's-
that was going to wrench your gears.
That's
It does.
That's
it
that's
does.
what I get.
I normally, when I look at it, expect to taste a little bit more caramel and a little bit more of a little bit of that
caramel
noni,
was
a little
what
bit
I-
of that.
yeah.
Sometimes if those cans are
Caramel and just
oxidized,
sharp bitterness as well.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I get
So
a picture of that every time I'm
that's
at
I've never
Moose's.
tasted that beer blind. That's fucking crazy. That's
Beer
fucking
number 2?
crazy.
Yeah, so that was Sierra Nevada. Great River beer, right?
Great,
Agreed.
great river beer.
Agreed.
Great river beer.
Fan fucking tastic.
Beer number 2, you guys were both right. That was the Backslope,
Broken
the
Paddles?
broken paddle there.
Killing it.
That's all that matters.
Dude, and
So
that
you
was
guys
my
got your
favorite beer,
breweries
dude.
right.
That was
You got
great.
everything
That's
else
a great
completely
fucking
wrong.
beer.
Yeah, you got your 2 breweries right. You got everything else fucking completely wrong.
Of course we did.
You know what? I'll
Beer
settle
number
for
1,
that.
which Marty thought was
Beer number
Draftworks
1.
and
Beer
CJ
number
thought
1.
was Odell, was the Fresh Squeeze from
Shit. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, you know what?
Either way, number 2 was the best. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Marty said that his favorite today
that was number
the number
2.
2 beer, and
Yeah,
that is
I
the
love
Broken
that
Paddle
beer.
from Backslope Brewing.
That's dope.
Dude, I thought that was a great beer.
I actually really enjoyed it more tasting it. I mean, like, you're your own harshest critic, right? You know, you're your own harshest critic. And I actually enjoyed tasting this blind because sometimes right now, I really think the first batch of that beer we brewed was better. And so sometimes I look at it like the redheaded stepchild, you know, no offense, Marty. And
Just because he's a ginger?
I got frosted.
and no
tips.
offense, Josh, by
I
the way,
got
too.
frosted tips now.
You got frosted. Oh, what are you, a Backstreet Boy? What is
Johnny,
this, 1997?
call me JT from here on out. Yeah.
But
Oh, shit.
But the minute those numbers got recognized, I put flavor with numbers, and I was like, it's got to be it. Kind of the same way we did the Bob was once you know, like
honestly,
oh, yeah.
once you mentioned the name, like you knew the numbers, I was just like, all right, yeah, that's it. And
That's
honestly, I was
where it's
kind of
at.
the same way
so
with
the next
Bob.
time we do this, I'm not going to give you numbers.
no
don't-
numbers.
yeah,
you don't
that's
get numbers.
No numbers.
But if that's the case, trade off. Let us look at the beer though.
That's
A-
right. We
a
won't give you
visual
numbers.
trade
We'll
off.
give you a visual.
Trade off
Yeah.
is
We'll
the
give
next
you a
time we do this.
visual.
We'll get
Visual
some look at it.
proposition is like a
That's
good
fair.
way to
That's
decide. You know,
This was a blast tasting it like this,
Dude,
though.
I
Like
liked
seriously,
it.
So
Yeah.
much fun.
I thought I thought I'd be for sure be able to pick out Sierra Nevada if it was in there, and I know that that's a big prize standard of yours, T. So I was looking for that and I couldn't find it. And when Josh told me we drank some Deschutes too, I felt the same way. Where I was like, I looked for Mirror Pond when you told us it was a pale ale. I looked for Inversion. I did not get them. So.
Well, see, for me, there's this very distinct flavor with
for
Deschutes
Louise.
beers that I feel like I could pick out anywhere. But now watching you guys do that, I'm not so fucking
It's
sure.
it is harder than
minute.
it looks.
all I've understood is that we can pick out our own beer just by like.
Which honestly,
Which is
I'm taking that as a
fantastic.
win.
That's
I'm
fantastic
taking
that
as
you
a
guys.
win.
That was the main thing that I was. After CJ told me about the idea for this episode, that was the main thing that was most intriguing to me. Was, are these guys going to be able to pick out their own beers among other beers?
Although you guys almost did pick Sierra Nevada as a pale ale from Sacred Waters, so
We almost did.
You're like, oh,
but
this,
as soon as we
this
said
might be
that,
the guts
though,
and
we
grit.
started talking. We're like, no, dude, that pale ale, it has such a strong orange juice flavor.
Right.
There's
The
no-
minute you said that, I
once
was
you heard
like,
the
I'm not
numbers too,
getting
once you
orange
heard the
juice at all.
38
Yeah.
on that definitely
Yeah,
was like,
that threw it
okay, no,
off.
not the guts
And I
and grit.
think that's
but-
a big thing about the collaboration. You know, just talking out loud about it. You're like, oh, this should have a shit ton of orange juice flavor.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And then
Can
you
you do a
taste it and go,
collaboration called Backwater?
We are going to be. We're hoping to do.
We're hoping to do a collaboration sometime this year in 2021. We're talking about a couple different ideas, and hopefully, we settle down on something. But
Maybe the three of us should open up a brewery. Call it like Backwaters Brewing.
Can you pay me enough as Sacred Waters?
Yeah, that's the real question. Is
My pockets aren't as deep as Kurt's, man.
I need the monetary investment. Well, this was great.
This has been
This was
a ton of
fun.
fucking fun, guys.
This, yeah.
Marty, where can the people
Absolutely.
listening find you on the social medias? Like, are you on Instagram or Twitter?
I'm on Instagram. I mostly just comment mean things, but I'm on $50 Bush Diesel.
He's a troll. He's a fucking
I'm a
troll,
straight up
dude.
troll.
What is your Instagram handle?
$50 Bush Diesel. And there's a story to that a little bit.
I feel like that's a very long Instagram
yeah,
name.
it was, yeah, growing up.
$50
here in
Bush
Kalispell,
Diesel.
You could always buy Bush Diesel, which is just regular old Bush, at Cattleman's in Kalispell, and it was always $1.50. So I'd buy the shitload of that. Get pretty hammered, like you.
Makes sense.
Drinking $1.50. So I had a drunken idea one night that my Instagram handle is now $50 Bush Diesel. And it has-
$50 Bush
and
Diesel.
It will not change. Until I die.
Go find him on the
Perfect.
grams. Go find him on the grams. I've had so much fun with this, and you can find me on the social medias at cousin_T. And if you're looking for this podcast, you can find it on Instagram also at final.gravity.podcast. Be sure to check out our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/finalgravity. And Josh, where can the people find you?
Oh, Project Enjoy Every Day, The Viking Peaches, Josh Reports, YouTube, The Viking Peaches, Facebook, all of those three ones that
All right,
mentioned
we
for
get it
Instagram.
Fucking just giving us tongue twisters over there.
And CJ, I would ask you where people can find you.
None of those
But
things.
none of those things.
None of those things. If you see me walking on the street and you're like, hey, you're that handsome devil from that podcast, those goons, I'll be like, yes, I am.
As they're gay.
But
They're talking about me, not you.
but otherwise, you gotta know me to get into this this speakeasy right here. You gotta have firsthand information.
Well, ladies, gents, kids, and
I was speaking to the kids when I said
people of all and aliens of all ages and demographics and planets. This has been one of the funnest Final Gravity episodes I've had with you guys in the last 6 months. Not to say we haven't had fun episodes in the past.
Marty made it better, though.
Well,
He did.
My eyelashes hurt from my hat. So.
But we're going to wrap this one up. We're going to close out. Thank you guys so much for listening. Josh, thank you for joining us again from Oregon, as always. CJ, my dude.
Always a pleasure.
Marty, thank you so much for coming in and doing
coming in,
this thing with us.
Hashtag Sacred Waters.
Hashtag Sacred Waters. Hashtag Backslope. Hashtag Orion's Belt Brewing. Hashtag fucking enjoy every day.
Enjoy every day.
Hashtag Josh Reports. Hashtag go fuck yourself. All right, we're out. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
Later, guys.
Plato 2 next week with Fred, Blind Brew Guy. We're excited for this one. We'll see you guys later.